Sorry it took so long. What I'd like to do before this and before we start here, I just want to say, make a comment. And, the Hurley family, we lost somebody on July 8th. He lost Judge Roy Hatfield. Passed away. One of the things that really bothers me is that the only time we recognize a person is when they die. That's wrong. We should recognize everybody all the time. I want to recognize you guys. I appreciate everything that you guys do.
And vice versa.
And all of you.
And I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. All right, and now we're in the,
It's in the peanut gallery in the back.
I also would like to thank gratitude for Judge Parker, Michael Schultes, and other people that helped make this town.
I'm not getting recognition.
I would like, for the time being, we all stand for a moment of silence.
Yeah.
We have Roy. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stay in the client here?
Gregory Simpson and Phil Tandre are here, obviously. All right. We also have our clerk, our deputy supervisor, John Perry. We have Matt J. Kosky, our legal mind. Okay, what I want to do is I want to open up this hearing or this meeting to public comment first of all. This is public comment number one. If you want to speak, I don't know, is there a list back there?
There are three lists.
I'll second the motion.
All right, I make a motion to open public comment number one.
Second.
All in favor? You in favor?
Yeah,
Aye. You're in favor. Okay, public comment number one.
thank you. Okay, Raleigh Green.
Stand close.
My name is Riley Green. 90 Mountain Street Avenue, Raleigh, and I would like to echo Supervisor Baum's statement that we should recognize people before they pass. And I want to thank the judge for his contributions to our community. I wanted to also thank you for what you did serving her. I had a comment that I wanted to speak to about an agenda item that has to do with the judge positions and whether it should be reduced from 2 to 1.
We're having a hearing.
We have a hearing now.
I'm hearing for that.
We have a specific.
Yes,
hearing on this?
yes,
Okay, so I can reserve my
yes,
comment then?
yes, yes.
At this time, I'm going to reserve my comment. for that comment.
Okay, Tim Kelly.
Good brief.
I will utilize my time as the board sees fit. First of all, thank you for honoring Judge Hochberg, who shared a special affinity with me. We both love Penn State and Penn State sports, so it's very sad to see him go. This board was elected to serve the community, correct? Not to rule over it? Okay. Well, there's an agenda item, first of all, that I'd like to speak about tonight regarding a pilot agreement. Pilot agreements handicap both the local town's taxes as well as the school district for an extended period of time. After further review of that pilot agreement, it does not have any clause in it that places any type of deed restriction or any type of enforcement on the property owner to keep the housing to 80% of the AMI. Okay, it just says that they seek to operate this type of an establishment. Okay, I would expect much stronger language and overrides as we're in a time of great change in our currency. Okay, so that whatever number you put into place in that agreement, future people will have to live. Some of you may not be around and will still be living with the tax agreement. Okay? Second of all, I'm here to demand that in line with the promises that have already been made, this board will see fit to demand that the Town of Ulster Town Board, as a lead agency for the battery energy storage project at 430 Hurley Avenue, the former Coleman High School, declare a positive declaration under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. This project and projects like it pose a significant environmental and safety risk to the surrounding area. The residents of the area are deeply concerned. Studies subsequent to thermal studies regarding the after effects of thermal runaway incidents at similar facilities have shown that the environmental damage can spread between 5 and 10 miles, depositing cadmium, manganese, and various forms of acid on the ground and on residents' homes and their livelihoods. This poses a significant impact to the town of Hurley, as well as New York City drinking water supplies. I strongly urge you to urge the town of Ulster to get an independent report subject to the positive declaration, a full EIS done. I ask that you act sooner rather than later. Do not allow this project to go further where you are not able to hit the reversers on this. Act immediately, please, for the sake of your residents. I'm not speaking out to generate fear. I'm simply speaking out of a deep-seated concern for the environmental beauty and quality of life that we so cherish and enjoy in this area, and my family has done so for multiple generations in Hurley. Since I've spoken up about this proposal, I've actually been met primarily with friends and neighbors who are thanking me for speaking me out. I can rarely go to a restaurant in Kingston without someone coming up to me and saying, thank you for what you're doing. I do believe that we are on the right path and that stopping this facility is the only decision that we have. Please, I urge this board to go down on the right side of history with regards to this matter. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight, and thank you for your service to this town.
Renee Sokolowski.
Hi, I'm Winnie Sokolowski. I live at 390 Joyce Lane in Hurley. I really don't look like this. I sent all of you, I emailed something about the new technology they're planning to use for this project. I'm not going to speak about it because I'm not a technician with regard to this, but it's the research that I did that says that although it's an improvement, it's really not good enough. Because one of the things that I do remember is the steel containers that they're complaining are going to contain this and keep it from the thermal runaway happening. They're very high risk of exploding. They're very high risk of having other damage done and leaking as well. So although it's, yes, technically an improvement, is it really in the site that they're proposing safe enough? So I sent that all to you so you can review that. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention tonight is there's two bills proposed in California to address the fires that they've had here over these BESS units. One is the AB 303, Battery Energy Storage Facilities Local Control and Safe Siting. It returns the local authority to permit or deny the BESS projects, which I think here I'm very concerned because the town of Ulster is a very large area, but there's a small swath that goes up where Coleman is. And so it's really going to impact Hurley and the residents of Hurley quite significantly as opposed to all of town of Ulster. So, that's one thing that this provision seeks to really put the authority to opt in or out of these back with the local governments. They also, I think this is key, requires a 3,200 foot setback between the site and sensitive receptors, homes, schools, hospitals. Currently, it's 10 to 50 feet. It's way too close. So the other thing is they have to be kept away from environmentally sensitive areas. I don't know if you realize this, we measured the reservoir. We did a GPS, is 6.6 miles from this site. And I had a person I know who's a fireman in Poughkeepsie. He said, if this blows and a toxic plume happens, the New York City water supply will be impacted and disrupted forever. New York City water supply forever if something happens. Then there's also another Clean Energy Safety Act that requires compliance with NFPA, National Fire Protection Agency 855 standards, which New York State is adopting as well. It doesn't guarantee safety. So they're parading that and saying, this is what's going to protect us. It's not solely going to protect us. So the last thing I'm going to say is, they're going to, or if they haven't already, they're going to make an LLC. That's my concern too. Moody has not rated this company prior to this next company investing in it very highly. They were having financial difficulties. So if something happens at this site, they're going to bankrupt the LLC and leave us holding the bag. And we're going to have to somehow fund the cleanup, which is going to be extremely expensive. So it's very concerning from that perspective too. So the last thing I'll say is safe siting isn't green. Safe siting safe siting isn't anti-green. It's common sense. We really have to put this in a place if we're going to use it at all. That's safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Tricia Scott.
My name is Patricia Scott. I live at 434 Joyce Lane. I also want to address this best site that's proposed. And by so few people in this room right now, it only leads me to believe that so few people in Hurley know about this proposal. Because if that were the case, this room, you wouldn't be able to get in here. It would be so packed. I think we should be shouting this from the rooftops. You know, we're a couple of miles from this site, the way the crow flies, even just driving. And I want to know if this council or whatever in town, the newsletter, whatever goes out to the public in Hurley, I want to know if an announcement can be made about this to alert people to the proposal that's on the table. And I think also we need to act sooner than later, like nip it in the bud, like right from the beginning. Is anyone else concerned about this? I would.
The previous meeting was packed.
Every meeting should- I know this isn't on the agenda, but we need to keep this at the forefront because it'll just come through. A year will go by very quickly. We have to address, this is monumental. This should really
There's a
be
town board
out
meeting
there.
in the town of Ulster on the 24th.
Yes, we're planning on being there. But I'd like this town, because we're gonna be more impacted, I think, than anyone else. We're the closest, Kingston also, but the whole town of Hurley, we're within that, zone.
There's 19 private wells within a very close region.
Yeah. We're so impacted. So thank you for your service also. I appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And we have Elizabeth Harper.
I thank you all. Reiterating what everybody else has said and also supporting my neighbors. I have to admit that I haven't done my own homework on lithium batteries to the extent that I should. But what I have noticed is that at the school, it is a 5-minute walk to our largest housing complex. And what I also know is many of the people who live in those complexes in that area, they take the bus. They are not necessarily the wealthiest individuals in our town. So therefore, what we're doing is setting them up to be the most vulnerable. And how, if there was an evacuation, how would that work for them? That's all I really have to say, except I support everything else everybody else has said.
Thank you. And Jillian, read all three.
I made it happy to put it on Facebook, but legally it's green. Green and freer, there wasn't much of a difference.
Dear members of the town board, first, thank you for your time and truly continued service to our community. I'd like to respectfully follow up on several items that were discussed during the June 16, 2025 meeting regarding the proposed lithium battery storage project. So number one, it was stated that a vote would take place on Friday, June 20th to determine whether the board was in favor or opposed to the project.
Did that vote occur? If so, what was the outcome? If not, when is it scheduled? I'll give this to Hamden for you guys. But we met with a couple of community members last night, and several people have recalled that and asked about it. So this is a list of comments for that. Number 2, it was mentioned that a letter will be sent to the town of Ulster requesting that the town of Hurley be designated as an interested agency. Has that letter been written?
That's done, that was done.
That's done. Will we,
We actually requested to be a,
involved?
And party participating?
no,
Interested party.
No.
It's interested, not involved, right? Are we able to do that?
We're designated as an interested party.
Okay. But the public can't do the letter.
Oh, yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay, awesome, great. People were asking, I'm relating comments. Number 3, at June 16th meeting, it was also stated that a letter of opposition from the town of Hurley will be drafted and sent to the town of Ulster based on the project's potential dangers and concerns raised by the community. What is the status of the letter and when can we expect its completion? And number 4, lastly, I'd like to follow up on a question raised by John Perry regarding the potential availability of a portion of the $200,000 that may be used to support legal counsel related to the matter. It was just, I know, a suggestion, but I figured I would follow up on it.
You're gonna have some interesting.
Okay. I added 2 more things. I don't know if any of you guys saw on the news, but Gardiner, New York has voted, I believe on July 7th or July 8th, and they enacted, the town board agreed to do a 6-month moratorium. That is going to be allowing time so that no current applications for BESS come through. I believe in that news article, they said if they've had several applications come through, they are using that time to review their zoning and safety standards and learn more about those projects. So luckily they're learning in advance, but I guess we are a little too late.
Wasn't our.
I know it's us, I know.
What you wanna do before.
It's done, but yeah. But perhaps maybe Hurley can, look at that to secure some safety measures in the zoning in the future. And just to piggyback off what Tim said, I think we really need to urge and push for a positive declaration. I was at a town of Ulster citizens meeting, and a town board member had stated that they were not going to vote, declare a pause deck because they were scared of a lawsuit. So I am very concerned that even with the data stating safety issues and environmental issues, and that as a part of the legal New York State secret process, I am very concerned about that. So I think we all really need to be putting pressure on them to declare a positive deck. We did it for the Glide Path project, so I think they need to do it for this project as well. But thank you all. Thank you for your time. I know that you're thinking about this. I know that you're concerned, so thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? I make a motion to close public comment number 1. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Going along there, since we only had 3 members before here, 2 sets of minutes to pass. We had 3 sets of minutes to pass.
I have minutes from 5:27, 6:10, 6:16, 6:27, 8, and 7:15. We do have some, I can make some small changes and recirculate all of them.
Let's do this thing. It's on, we had this, right?
Yes.
Leave it that way because some of the minutes, Debbie can't, she wasn't there. So in other words, yeah, 2 was here. So why don't we hold up this whole thing until next Okay. Supervisor report, you have your financials. What I asked you guys to do with the financials is to look it over. All right, let's not discuss it today. Let's look it over. This way we come back on August 12th, I think it is. All right, and then discuss it. This way you can review it You can ask questions of me, you can ask questions of Wendy.
Mike, I won't be here at the August meeting,
Okay,
so just email me the sections and I'll do my best now.
okay, so we do that, and this way, we have to just go, take time out right now, or we have to open it.
Peter, one thing I'm gonna say again about financials is, I mean, it's great that we've got to this level of detail. It's great that we know, what the accounts are going against. But I really need to understand what our estimate to the end of the year is. It doesn't help us if we, right? It's great. I know what we spent today. I know what the budget is. How much more do we have to spend? Are we gonna hit our mark or are we gonna be over? And we should be able to estimate a lot of things. Checked out.
When, can we do something, can we look at, for example, like, bills that are gonna be coming in August, September, October, November, December, to see exactly where they're going? What I'm saying is, we can look at the 2024 budget, the bills we pay, I should say. I mean, it's recurring. Come this way, give us an idea what we want to do.
Well, this way,
You could do it year
this
over
is
year.
great, but I don't know what this, it doesn't tell me where we're gonna be at the end of the year. I don't.
You really never know until you get to the end of the year. However,
It gives you a percentage of the budget that's already spent.
Yeah.
It gives you a really good idea. But I don't know if the bills coming in. Well, you're gonna assume that we get the same piece.
Yeah.
So,
So the big ticket items are gonna be your retirement. You're gonna pay your New York State retirement out in October or November so that you can take advantage of the early 10% discount.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when the insurance bills come in for vehicles. I haven't seen those
that's
yet.
what I mean, just some of those big things so we know.
And all of the bills are all available in my office, the 24 vouchers. I can try to pull them if someone wants to come in and sit with me. But as we talked, Debbie, my schedule was extremely busy. They're all there. I can, sit with John, if John's got some time, and we can try and estimate it. But like John said, other than the recurring bills, we don't necessarily know of any big expenses that are coming in other than the New York State retirement and, any of the vehicle policies for insurance.
Okay.
The other thing is health insurance. We have that, coming up because we switched that over in August, September. So we need to take that into consideration. I know internally we're talking about switching brokers, which shouldn't have that much of an impact, but we have that coming up. Other than that, John, can you think of anything that I'm missing?
there are some things that we pay early to save on costs, to lower interest, percentage. One of them was into the county, which is our
Self-insurance?
is it self-insurance or is it the disability? Is it
Disability, no, we pay that quarterly. It's probably self-insurance.
Self-insurance.
I'll take, yep, and I haven't seen those numbers come in yet.
I know medical's going up to about 8%. I got that.
Yeah.
All your 0.1 lines should be legit as far as your percentages, your 0.4s, unless, like Wendy was saying, there's something that's coming in that we're just not aware of, like we did crosswalks, for example. That was not budgeted for. So those are things that I can't put into the budget or tell you that they're going to be there in December because the 0.4s tend to sometimes adjust as we need them.
Right.
But your 0.1 should be right on.
Yeah, and they are. I've gone over most of them. They are. We found some internal errors that we're fixing. The other important thing to note is the numbers that you guys have. So the capital numbers are good. And then there's a sheet that is labeled, includes all vouchers ready to sign. Those budget numbers, the actual numbers, the 1/1 to 7/22, no longer have the capital expenses in them. So they are true numbers. Which means, again, if we pay a capital expense, it has to come out of a regular fund line. And then, separately, I take it out of the capital. So if anybody has any questions, if we are at this point where we know what our capital balances are and we know what our true expenses are minus the capital. So that is really a good reflection of where we are.
And the difference is we never used to do that because we would just take it from the capital. We would just pay those through the capital. This is a great way to show that little, more itemized line. So that's why you're seeing them being pulled, like, for example, your consulting engineering. That's in the negative because what I just used, the crosswalks. So, and the MS4, we just paid for through that. Normally that would just come out of well, not the MS4 anyway, but that would be the crosswalks which came out of capital. And you would have never seen that line being adjusted.
Right.
So right now we're doing it for detail purposes for bookkeeping. From accounting purpose, RBT would not, they don't care. So I shouldn't say they don't care. They look at it differently on their end.
Yeah, they're trying, really what they're trying to do is just fill the AFR, which is standard report, everything kind of rolls up. We're pulling it back a little bit and really trying to get details. Can it get more detailed? Absolutely, and we're headed in that direction. But we're further than we've ever been, which is great.
Oh,
And
no,
that,
I mean, this is, I think it's fantastic.
we're getting there.
But like, so just for example,
Yep.
32% at the bottom, the final percentage left is 32%.
Right.
of the budget.
The total budget.
Right,
Yes,
so we're halfway through the year,
but that,
right, and I get it because it's those big expenses.
exactly,
Right?
and
There are
that's,
a lot of big expenses in the beginning of the
that is
year.
exactly it.
So how confident are we that 32% is gonna cover what we have left to pay?
John and I have already talked
I would
about
have to go through every line individually with you on that, just to tell you, well, this line is pretty much done for the year. This line has this, and this coming out of it. We would have to sit down for a couple of days.
And I mean, coming from my perspective,
I mean, it's up to you.
I don't know how John agrees, but I would start cutting corners a little bit. You know, we've definitely tried to meet a lot of different demands so far this year. So I would start to scrutinize the bills a little bit more. I've been pretty good about it, but we've got good numbers for 6 months, but let's really start to scrutinize. The other thing you guys have to think about is, you have 2 contracts coming up for negotiations, highways coming up and the general. And we are shooting to have those negotiations done before we do the budget so that John and I can sit down and we have very accurate numbers. But, you know, those are going to impact 2026. So just start thinking,
And 25.
yeah, no, 25's done.
Oh, no, they're getting retro.
No.
No, nobody's getting
No,
hurt.
no,
Nobody, everybody's up to date. Nobody's
Oh, yeah,
getting hurt.
My understanding is that they were going in for more percent for this year.
no.
No, there's nothing to get.
26.
So what the generals, and what we're not doing, we're not doing.
Generals all the way good till 12/31/25. We are good.
In other words, yeah,
I-
we're after negotiations.
Right, but he took-
26.
But in October, they were supposed to start discussing, and then 25 was part of that. I thought 25.
We did 25 already. And we
That's
did
in this
retro
budget?
for 25. Yes, it is in that budget. Yeah.
But you didn't budget it.
No, it's not in this budget.
It wasn't.
No, you didn't budget for it, but we did it.
That's my point.
Right.
So you're gonna see those funds taken out of this budget.
Yes.
They're not in this budget. So
No, that's-
you're gonna see that is gonna actually hurt the point one. for
And
you.
that's what I'm saying. Start, you're at the 6-month plan. You know where you are. Most of it. Start cutting corners where you can. Because John is correct. that He didn't budget for 25 because he didn't know. And that's why we're pushing the union to negotiate early this year.
We're gonna start in July. So we're gonna do basically we both together.
That's what we're trying for, yes.
Both your new contract.
Not together, we're
Not
gonna do
together.
negotiations at the same time, so we have the answers before John and I sit down to really work on the 2026 budget. We have a lot of things in place. It's just gonna take a little bit more time, but Debbie, you are absolutely right, and anytime you have some free time, we can sit down.
The thing is, though, if you look at like the expense, so the one line, 2% employees in town hall. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, budget.
right.
I don't know.
All right, all right. Anything else about the, financial report? So John, you want to talk about the commission?
Sure, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to do town clerk's report first?
Sure.
In order?
You have to.
I mean,
I'll pull up.
you gotta pull it up. Let's just get it over with.
There you go, my friend.
There it is. And there's page 2,
And there's page 2.
which is not in your packets.
I think I gave that to
I
everybody.
think we do.
Ready, page 2?
Yeah, you can, I don't think you gave it to Daisy.
It'll be on the screen and it's on the website.
Okay. So as you can see, we brought in about $41,000. Most of that will be from the building department transfer stations. And we also have the highway warrants in the packet. I think it's on the reverse. So there. Which is also published on the website.
This one's not up yet, but it will be. Yep.
Okay, any questions about
That'll be
that?
up tomorrow.
Nothing extraordinary occurred
And then, we've actually had 7 marriages this year. So happy to see fire inspections and short-term rentals. Yeah. The building department can go over those more specifically. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
When,
No?
Yeah.
All right, recreation, John?
I've gotten good feedback for Hurley Day. I've got a bunch of folks that are interested. So I'm gonna still work on that. So I'm trying to find some food trucks, some things, maybe some entertainment, and then volunteer to do some tattoo, sparkle tattoos. So we have things like that, but the majority of the point of Hurley Day for right now, and so we can really build this up. I need to start in January to do this, to really build this up. So there's a lot going on in the town, and unfortunately, I'm not gonna make this a priority. But the most important part of Hurley Day is for people to come out, to be introduced to you all, introduced to our committees and employees and elected officials, so that we can have a better sense of community and bring Hurley and West Hurley together and show that, we are all Hurley. So that's the whole point of Hurley Day. So we're going to continue. We're going to do the best we can. Again, I've had a lot of people step up. I had meetings with the Reverend over at for Mountain Valley Little League. So they're going to do something maybe to help us promote it more as well. So leading into that, we have Mountain Valley Little League starts in August. So they'll be utilizing the field Fridays and Saturdays through August into late October, early November. I know Mike would talk about the electric and such, so we'll work on that. The newest thing would be I had a meeting, phone meeting with Samantha Moses, and she has a really exciting, cool youth program that she wants to bring to Hurley, which is at the West Hurley Park. It's a junior sports league, which is basically introducing sports and parenting combined in an interactive, sports-minded for youth. For toddlers to young children. So really 0 to 5 years old is what she wants to do. So it's a very parent involved. It would be 2 hours each time. It would be for 2 days a week, 1 day during the week, 1 day in the weekend she's looking for. I'm meeting her tomorrow to decipher where she can do it with the football going on and with everything else going on up there. And if she has a PowerPoint, I'd like to have her present the PowerPoint to you all so she can better explain it to you, not a third party to yourself. But it really sounds great. How we introduce it to the public and how the town board wants to allow this to happen, we'll decipher that based on the PowerPoint and how she wants to move on with the venture. But she wants to start in October.
John, do you plan to charge for Hurley Day this year?
I'm sorry.
Do you plan to charge a fee like we did last
No,
year?
there was never a fee. That was just a donation for food. That's where the whole communication thing got a mess. So there's no fee. It's free. It's always been free. No, it's free. It'll be free. And this year when we have the food trucks, if you want to buy a piece of, fruit or whatever, then you go up to the food truck and buy it. I did not want to incorporate Julian with everything he's done for the soup kitchens and everything he did last year for Hurley Day. I just couldn't go to that well one more time. I'm sure he'll do the soups again this year, and that is amazing what he did for us and got everything donated for us. And so I don't want to burn that bridge. So I would love for him to continue to do that. And let's expand Hurley Day in a different way, and I'll do that.
Question, would it be possible maybe to get a radio station to broadcast during the activities?
That's a good idea. Radio Kingston or something.
Music, Radio Kingston.
Or DST, yeah.
DST.
Yeah, I'll ask him. Sure. It's a good early guy. Yeah, good. So any ideas anybody has, please just pass them on.
One thing also, Samantha Moss, she's been charging the families.
So she wants to charge $20. So the idea behind the $20 is to pay for the insurance, because she has to have insurance, to pay to reimburse her for any crafts, anything that whatever material she's going to be using. And she also sees this growing, so potentially paying somebody, an employee. So if we offer this to townspeople, maybe you guys want to offset it with some sort of whatever you guys want to do. But Primarily, she has a bunch of people that live in town in Hurley that would love to see it happen at Dug Hill. Currently, she's at Davis Park all the way out in Powell. So I'll, I'll try to reach out to their rec department, see how it's going, get some input on them. And, but I'm gonna start with her tomorrow up at the field, get some just time. 3:30. Any of y'all want to? I believe that's it for now.
Hey, thank you, John. Mike, highway report?
We're slowly moving along on Joy's Lane. Looks like we're getting towards better digging. I will have to pull a crew off Monday and Tuesday because we're gonna pave Old 28 in Glenford. We're gonna christen 2 of our new trucks. We have 2 of them in-house now, all ready to go. We keep trying to knock things off the list. We got, over pipes that we got replaced, so we did one today up in Glenford, 2 driveways, crew spread thin. We're in construction season. We got a lot of PTO. We have at least 1 or 2 people every week for vacations, so it's tough. I do bring in other towns to help us. Monday, Tuesday, I have Ulster, Marbletown, and all coming to help us pave. So hopefully we'll be done with that on Tuesday, and Wednesday the whole crew will get back down to Joy's Lane. And we're down on the home stretch now, so fingers crossed.
You're gonna get the chips quota? You want me to chips quota, paving stuff for sure? I know you guys are so fucking money. If you think we need to go out for any
We're doing pay ourselves, so save money.
we have to go out and to get that money reimbursed.
Well, we get reimbursed for in-kind service.
I understand, but we should have the time to do the chips money, we want those monies back, so we can potentially go out to,
Some of that's not gonna get submitted until December 10th.
for instance,
So come back in for probably 3 weeks of January.
so we think we get all the 300 change.
Some of them are submitted, we got like Mary Hill, we got Bristol Hill, we got. I gotta amend the 284 because when Marbletown paved side, they paved our section for us, it was 180 tons, but I can still adjust the 284. I'll bring it in next month. And I will amend that, and that way we'll be able to submit that in for reimbursement. So
But you can't submit like Joy's Lane at this point until it's finished.
we have to pay for it. We have to get the canceled check in our hand. And then we can submit it. So until we do the work, pay for it, and get the canceled checks, we can't submit it.
So basically, we're talking about $260,000.
Right about 264 to 265,000. We did get delivery of the new trailer. Leonard said they're moving the paper tomorrow, the first time they're gonna use that. And, slowly we're getting our fleet back to where we don't have to worry about something breaking every time we go to do a job. We continue to move. We're getting a lot done, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
Okay. All right, building department, it's,
I have it.
there you go. All right, this is the building department monthly report. Right, so far they have, this month they brought in $15,000 for a total of $105,000. This is up to June, this is June 2025. And this is the heavy season right now, so money should be coming in more or less. Last year, they brought in $189,000
At this time,
in total, which matched their budget line. All right,
What's the budget next year again? For the building department?
it's in more to
a little too.
11, maybe?
A little too much.
Assessor. All right. So this is the assessors. And I guess it was. Yeah, there were 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 properties that was sold and bought. That's it for reports. I just want to add one more thing here. Today was the first day we actually met with IECON, the DEC at the landfill. We're starting the remedial investigation, starting today, and they're gonna be going at it. And that's a 1.325 million grant that we got. And so it's started today, and they can continue on. They figure it'll take about, in 2 years. Get the whole thing done. What did they do? You gotta start today. That's a nice thing.
Did you notice that, all the grass and weeds were trimmed around the old highway complex?
Yes. Also, Bill wants to, I want to talk to you, he wants to talk to you. He needs some background information about the landfill. That they didn't know about.
You sure they want to know something?
Yeah. Okay. All right, next thing is, we have any project, any, oh, by the way, anything you guys want to say? All right, anything you want to speak about, Diana? By the way, John, I'm not sure if you remember, but Diana is a liaison to the recreation committee.
I see, see.
Okay. You want to see, so grab it to the other meetings. Okay.
As well as everybody.
Yes.
Everybody knows it. Third Monday.
Diana, anything you want to say? All right, Hector Rodriguez is part of the Dallas Point project. Dallas Point is up on Station Road, off of Burley Mountain Road, and this is basically, we'll talk about this.
Hector, you know your PDFs here, so just tell me which ones you need up as.
Yeah, no, honestly, we're keeping it pretty brief and simple. So. I am not here for terribly, but we'll make it stretch as long as we can.
It's like in school, take one fast.
A little bit. A little bit. You want to use the microphone, right?
Yeah, please.
How's this? All right. Thank you. So first off, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you to the board. Thank you for your time and attention. Before I begin, I want to take a quick note personally about Judge Hopper because I was a colleague of his. We served together in the Ulster County Legislature during his tenure. Roy was never the most outspoken, but you learned to shut the heck up when Roy was going to comment on something, whether it was in committee or whether it was on the floor of the legislature. He also had probably the most even-keeled personality that I could see. And mind you, those early years of service were some wild times in the Ulster County Legislature. And Roy was one of the few people who always just had a level head. And so I want to take that moment to appreciate all his contributions. So, I've been all brevity to soul of wit. So let's see if I'm witty. Why don't you just put up, actually, go where's this Gallus level?
This one?
Yeah. So again, bare basics. You've got about 43 units in total in the town of Ulster. You have 55 approved lots that are in the town of Hurley, right? So you can see where that dividing line is. There's in fact actually two separate wastewater systems, multiple wells, but the long and the short of it is, we've known for quite some time that the park needs a lot of help. This is as much a labor of love as anything else. And I'm not just representing Affordable Housing Concepts, the contractor. I'm also representing the Affordable Housing Conservancy, which is a charitable housing development organization that is going to be taking ownership of the park. So this is going into the hands of a nonprofit specifically to maintain affordability. Now, former Councilman Kelly, I appreciate your comments. As an FYI, we are in talks now to close with the state of New York on about plus or minus $8 million that locks us in for a 30-year period to have all the lots, meaning the ones that are developed and undeveloped, be at 80% AMI for a 30-year time period. So the state of New York has already obligated us for a 30-year period. In addition, we were awarded monies from the Ulster County Housing Action Fund. That obligates us to a 40-year period. So for the next 40 years, this project will be locked in at 80% AMI for those lot rents. So what we're proposing is to pay the taxes that we are currently paying and to lock those in for a period of 40 years, which matches the affordability period. Now, why are we doing that? Because the state of New York has asked us to go and do this as part of our pro forma to show as a contribution by the town that we are in fact trying to maintain the overall operation of the park, not only as it currently stands, but also all the work that we're putting into it. We have a proposed $5 million investment as part of this whole project, including but not limited to replacing in kind any water and sewer lines that may need to be fixed, to go and basically finish off any of the hardware that was needed for the pads that have yet to be developed. And lastly, to make sure we actually get the roads paved. Anybody who's been up there knows that that is in fact one of the biggest issues that you'll hear, along with lighting. Because lighting was one of the things that we actually held a community meeting with about 30 residents back in May of 2024. And these were the issues that came up. So we made sure that we geared our program to meet those needs. So basically that's why we are here asking you all for this pilot. Again, we're not asking for money back. We're asking to lock in the taxes that are currently being paid for the next 40 years, because that ensures the operation of the park. And again, let's be candid, there is not a lot of money in this park if you are trying to maintain it for affordable housing purposes. Had this been sold to a private developer, they would have bought it, they would have done all this work, and they would have jacked up the lot rents by another 50, 60, 70, 80% to go and pay for the work. That's why we got the Affordable Housing Conservancy involved as a nonprofit to hold it, because for a nonprofit, they can go and not expect to really make any money on it.
What's the status of the road system? Is that gonna still maintain private roads?
No.
At the moment, we're gonna maintain them as private roads. However, we have talked about making sure, let's see if I can do this without tripping, right? Station Road, for that, we're calling for that to be widened at least through here, and then be in talks to go and see if there's an appetite for taking it, but that's only this portion of the road.
That's all.
Who's gonna maintain it?
Yeah.
So right now, we're planning on maintaining any of the interior roads.
And the lighting system as well?
Yeah.
The reason I ask, because if you're gonna dedicate them to the town, then holding the taxes flat for 4 years.
I think that's,
My understanding when we met last year was that the town was gonna pick the roads.
I think that we would have liked that to happen. But listen, that comes back to the other question, as the highway superintendent just said.
Well, I don't have a crystal ball to predict the future, but my question is such. This will in effect make the taxes cheaper every year moving forward for the next 40 years, as there will be no increase. $1 in 1985 is equivalent to about $3 today.
So there's a 2% increase every year.
Right, but that's lower than the average CPI
And
for the
again,
last 40 years.
And this is the component of, we are doing a deal with the state of New York.
You're just handicapping the future. You're borrowing against the future.
Well, the future is this park won't exist, or worse, it'll get put off to a private developer who's gonna price these people out of their homes.
So you're ensuring the fact that the rentals on this property right now, these people, will be similar to what they're paying now?
Yeah, in fact, actually, in certain cases, it goes down. The way it works is that
80%?
if you're actually above 80% AMI right now, you're being charged above 80% AMI, you have to get dropped down to 80% AMI, so long as you qualify, right? So.
So this,
Go ahead.
So, just a question. So the people that are up there now, do they all own the mobile homes that are up there or?
The vast majority do,
Okay, so
vast
if
majority
they
do.
own the mobile home, you're redoing that mobile home?
No, this right now is like locking in the affordability. So that way their rents don't, their lot rents don't go up.
So you're not doing anything with the trailers, you're just doing something with the
lot,
the pets that they're on.
Vacant pets.
So just the vacant pads.
Yeah,
So how many vacant pads do you have right now?
There are 25 in the town of Hurley. There is one in the town of Ulster.
Am I mistaken? You are also providing them, if they would like, the ability to to upgrade their trailers and you would put a new trailer on that
Not
pad,
modular.
on that
Well, they
pad.
go to a
Modular on
typically
the
sell
pad.
trailers.
Grant funding provided.
Boom, and then you would take
Grant,
theirs.
grant funding provided, yes.
So they're not required, it would only be if they would want to.
Yes, well, they want. yeah.
Okay,
And you said grant funding required,
So,
so
no, provided, meaning like, if there's the grant money that we have put in for, yes, then we're gonna upgrade the trailer. Right now, we are gonna be spending $5 million just to go and upgrade the entirety of the road, the water, the sewer, making sure there's enough volume by wells. We are replacing the water tank that is here, right? So there's a whole series of work.
when I heard the presentation, we were in your office. I thought that, I understood, yes, they're putting the new ones in, but that they were then gonna replace the old ones as well. And they would move those people to a newer one and then go back and then replace theirs.
Only-
I'm
no. We have only committed to, with whatever grant funds that we're able to secure, to go and then do replacements. Right now, the amount of deferred maintenance, I don't want to say anything. I know John has tried to maintain affordability up there. John McGovern. The amount of deferred maintenance is enormous. Let me say that again. The amount of deferred maintenance is enormous, which means the amount of work that we're gonna have to do just to be able to go and get this back in shape, so that we actually can have people move in on those 25
You
pads.
say, back in shape, yeah.
And the rescue truck up there, we're gonna lose a wheel one of these days.
Sorry?
I said, I drive the ambulance and the rescue truck up there and we're gonna lose a wheel.
Oh, I know, and I mean, like, that's the reality.
And stand proud to get them up in there because the road.
So basically what you're doing, you're just upgrading the infrastructure, not the housing.
Yeah.
Until they get the grant, you get it.
Yeah.
If you-
That's correct.
So really, and I thought you said something about you're securing $8 million from the state. Can you repeat that part of what you said initially? 30 years, you're gonna get $8 million or something about $8 million.
Yeah, no, the $8 million is what we're looking at trying to get out of the state of New York, which right now, knock on wood, we're gonna close, in the next couple
And
months.
that's used to do all this upgrades?
It's going to be the upgrades, it's gonna be site acquisition, right? We have to acquire the site from the current owners. And it's gonna be $5 million in construction alone.
Can you give us an idea what the cost of an 80% lot rent that would be?
Sure, it's $681.
Just for the lot rent?
That includes water and stuff. And plowing and
Some people
garbage.
are paying 1,000, not that, but another lot, they're paying 1,000 a month.
They're paying 681.
Plus whatever they have to pay for their trailer.
So there are 25 vacant pads in Hurley,
Yes,
and who do we anticipate, or how do we anticipate those will become, people will buy new trailers?
Yeah.
You're not gonna provide
as,
trailers,
as they would now, yeah.
single wides?
And that's the thing too, of course,
Do you have an
we
idea?
have a site plan that we're gonna maintain. I talk to Paul Economos once a month, just to make sure.
And do you anticipate how many children might be added to the schools?
That's a good question. I mean, based off of the current population now, not a heck of a lot. We've seen a lot more seniors acquire units there.
That's the way John pushed it. He did
What's
not-
that?
That's the way that landlord pushed that.
I mean, I can't speak to what
I mean, I know
what
he's
John
not,
does.
try to go up there, right? is not favor of having something up there.
No, I'm just, that's just based off of
It's
the
not.
pattern I've seen.
There's 3 or
Yeah.
4 or 5 cars waiting for the buses to come along.
Oh, there's some kids. That's good.
Running around.
Yeah.
So Hector, who's the new, wiring ownership? It's a new, this, I've never heard of this,
The Affordable Housing Conservancy.
Affordable housing service.
and that's out of New Falls?
Yes,
Who's the
They're actually-
beneficial owner of that?
What are the
it's
complexes?
the nonprofit.
What are the,
It's run by who? Who's the board?
I can give you
that's
the,
them, but
I
what are
can give you
the,
it's on the website.
what are the complexes do they run?
They own
So that we can-
Harmony Hall, which is being built in New Paltz. I believe they own, I think it's Horizons that way beyond that. I'll get these, get you, I think it's Horizons.
And those are all in New Falls?
No, way beyond is in Orange County, Harmony Hall is being built right now, which is a 51 unit.
Can you send a list so we can potentially go visit these sites and
Sure.
conduct some of our own investigation on how people are being treated?
So, okay, so in a sense, what I'm getting is that they have been paying whatever rent they have. They're gonna pay $691 to you guys,
Anyone.
$681, they're gonna pay. If they rent, the trailers or whatever, they have to pay that rent also.
Or mortgage the trailer.
That's
You know,
mortgage
most
their
of
trailers.
that mortgage.
In other words, they're just,
The vast majority own their own trailer.
what I'm saying is, but in other words, these
We just
people.
call it manufactured home. I know we use the parlance.
For these people, it's an increase of $681 a month.
No, they already,
No,
they're going to stay up it.
And if I go through right now, probably this is back of the envelope and based off of my very, memory on the subject, probably half or probably under that right now. Half might be over it, but not by much. So meaning if you're above, let's say that you're at 685, you drop down day 1, minute 1, down to 681.
You said careful below that. So what's that, like, what is the average of what below is?
I have to go back.
400, 500, why would they be different?
I'd have to-
Same for.
No, because you can't go, by New York State law, remember, this deal becomes very much like any other light tech deal that you would normally go and see. The regulations by the state of New York say you can only go up by the 5%. So if you're at, say, let's say Tim is at 650, that means in the next calendar year, I can only raise it by 5%.
But if if you have a pilot that you're not paying more taxes, then, so that should ameliorate the rate of increases for these homeowners.
Well, I mean, the pilot right now is to lock in the operating budget, which is what the state asks us to go and do, which is why we did that with the town of Ulster, and we got that approved.
So by extension, then that would keep the cost down for the people who live there.
Yeah, and that's also why we're getting able to go and offer this in the first place. So that's why we're doing the pilot. That's why we did the pilot in the town of Ulster.
So Hector, the special housing, I'm sorry, the special tax districts, a lot of times, their increases are much more even than our general, and highway. So you'll be paying the special tax districts exactly what they're requesting? Or is it, you're not getting a pilot reduction for them?
Library.
So we have
fire.
library, ambulance, and fire.
Right.
So in this, as far as this document right here, it states fire, ambulance, water, special tax districts.
Yeah, that's under
The
this.
pilot payment shall cover all local and municipal taxes other than assessments for local improvements, i.e. So you're gonna be paying those in full.
Yeah, that's percentages.
So there's no deductions to our, okay. So I'm clear.
So if they go up, then they have
They have to pay their percentage.
to the fire library.
So then, probably my last question maybe. So in reference to the $1,063 of change, that's based on current assessed value. So you're stating that you want us to maintain the current assessed value based on the hold for 40 years? Or are you going to allow us now to implement the assessed value, what it should be after the project is completed?
The point of locking this thing in is that way we can go and create cost certainty with the state with regards to what the operating budget is. So,
I just wanted to.
no, I'm saying, I'm explaining to you just the other day.
I get it.
That's the only way you can do
I
it.
had it.
No, I got you. Listen, we've gone through this multiple projects. this is how affordable housing works. And this is sort of your contribution from the town's end. If we're asking the state for X number of dollars, and we're asking the county for X number of dollars, every sort of piece and every layer of government is sort of making a contribution. Yours is about foregoing future tax revenue and assessment, right? So we're not asking you for a dollar, right? Out of the town's coffers. But yes, of course, going forward, those dollars are what's sort of being set aside to maintain the affordability of this park. And to make sure, again, we keep people in their homes.
I have a question to ask you. The other side is town of Ulster. We already had an agreement with town of Ulster with the pilot and so forth.
Yeah.
Right, we did that back in June of 2024.
No, we did that in January. And candidly, Ulster operates, and I say the most polite way possible, Ulster operates in their own way. At first, we began the conversation because we thought that would take the longer conversation. And suddenly the supervisor moved it forward in 3 meetings.
So let me ask you a question. So is there pilot contingent on us passing the pilot?
No.
In other words, if we say no to this whole thing, they then, their program continues on then.
It would. I mean, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, but it would. Because I don't know if this deal goes through without it. Again, the state of New York, excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize. The state of New York is looking at every piece sort of the puzzle, right? Which is why we do these closing calls, and you go through the list of all the different pieces, right? So these are pieces that the state's looking for, because when we model out the out years, remember, you're locked in for 40 years, right? You're locked in for 40 years. They want to see the overall viability of the project. The only way you can do that is by locking in the taxes.
Well, you can also, on the basis of which 40 years, that's what you have with the state, and for 30 years, the state, 10 years of the county. I mean, if we decide not to do that, then you all be eating that cost.
The deal probably wouldn't happen.
Or you'd be eating the cost.
So we're not gonna purchase, it.
That's my point. So,
I mean, at that point, then John goes to a private outfit, and then they do whatever they're gonna do.
I will say,
And we've seen what's happened in other communities.
I think the other option, which was also a nice option, was that with this project, the state would then, if I remember correctly, would provide certain funding for these folks to be able to, because it's very hard to get a mortgage for a manufactured home. So in this light, folks that have rundown manufactured homes can move into these new ones. They would have the ability to have financing in these new homes to then move. And then when they move, they take the old one out, they can then reconstruct a new one, and you slowly start seeing this project become more and more.
If he has grant money, what he said
If
about that.
if in fact, I'm just adding to the caveat.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he's one of the nice things about the project.
And it might happen over time, like you just said, Mr. Ricky Supervisor. It might be a thing where in year one, with the funding that we're able to secure, right? And we're talking to different nonprofits, along with a separate state agency, to go and basically see if we can this happen. It might be you go and replace 3 in year one, and you're gonna replace 5 in year 2. Also, on top of that, the Conservancy runs a weatherization program, which they just ran a very successful $10 million program across 7 different counties. They're likely gonna get funded again in September for a second round. So what does that mean? Your weatherization, you can begin to fix the existing trailer that's already there and improve that in the meantime as an interim step. So
Is there a way to initiate some sort of percentage in writing that we can provide to our seniors in reference to making sure that at least, say, 25% go to 55 and older?
No, no. I mean, here's the thing, when this project, let me back up. When this project was originally proposed, I'm talking about way back, the goal was to go to HUD for a $25 million grant. I want to clear up because I know where some of this is coming from now. A $25 million grant. Well, clearly the Biden administration didn't exactly come through on that front, right? Just the reality of why that happened. When that fell through, we had to move into Plan B, which was how do we make sure we preserve the park and improve its infrastructure and make it so that way residents have an improved quality of life and we lock in the Right?
Right, so then, so my point is the 25 beds that are coming in, is there a way we can make a percentage of those to our town residents who are seniors? You know,
No, oh, no, the state will, we're going through the same problem on Harmony Hall. I had to go and fight like cats and dogs to get a 15% local commitment. And that local commitment was not to the village of New Paltz, it's Ulster County, and then afterwards to the Mid-Hudson. The state of New York does not like it when you begin to go and try to narrow it down into, back in the day, you could do that.
Artists,
Right.
you know, veterans, things like that.
No, I appreciate the thought. It is like,
Do you have somebody that lives up there then to take care of everything? Will there be somebody who go, like right there, or?
we're gonna be keeping the existing staff first and foremost. In addition, Onyx Property Management is gonna be involved. In addition, Pathstone is a partner that's going to be going through and making sure that we're getting new folks at the 80% AMI and doing the vetting on that. And they also happen to own, as a side, they also do home ownership, advising as well. So, but that's not why we brought them in. They were brought in during the first phase, and we kept them through the second phase because they still do all the other pieces.
Well, you mentioned funding from the state, the county, and then obviously what you're asking us. Did you mention what the county's doing?
So the county is doing $400,000 towards the park. So right now, that's a big help because it shows a local commitment.
$85.
Although it's throwing also 10%.
Outside of. Question. So the main objective is to lock in their operating costs, correct?
Yeah.
So there could conceivably be a, predetermined increase of a small percentage also built into the agreement, could you not?
And there actually is 2%.
There is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it.
No, that's 2% a year.
It's lower than historical.
Okay.
Something trending for.
No renewables, no solar or anything up there?
So we have talked with the state about doing a 25 kilowatt array, probably in the old gravel pit. Probably that the most likely spot to start ground.
That'd be good. Is that in Ulster or no?
Well, that's gonna be in Hurley, because it's right, hold on. I really hope I don't die on this. Hold on, there we go. Right here. That's the existing gravel pit.
It's a thing.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
We're trying.
We can go.
Yeah, we don't.
These are real other slides.
I mean, the other ones are just basically, you can go and see the aerials. Why don't you pull up the aerial at least?
Amazing.
No, sorry, if I gotta clear out of this. Here you go. Tell me which one it is, do you know?
It should be, go to, we see what says email one? Go to that one.
Let's open that.
Right.
At least that way you can just kind of just see. This thing is up on a mountain. I don't know if people have actually driven by there or driven up there. This thing's on the side of the mountain. It is not easy to get there. It has wonderful views. As a crazy aside, honestly, going through this project has been like unraveling an onion, if I'm being candid about the whole thing, where I'm rediscovering or discovering things all the time. This project was actually created by court order of the State Supreme Court in 1988, when the original owner of Gallows Hill sued the town of Hurley, and then was again reapproved in 2010 and then in 2011 for this configuration. So when we talk about, when we have to go through and check the water lines, and we're doing the infiltration study to figure out which ones are leaking or not, or the current state of things, or going through, for example, you've got sand filters here, here, and here. We're gonna be going through and by replacing those sand filters. And candidly, if it's leaking in there, we're gonna have to go and replace those tanks, right? And pour new concrete ones. So that's partly why when I talk about, wait, how much money are you investing? It's because, again, deferred maintenance. This thing's been going on for 40 years and no one has touched it. Now, mind you, that it has held up as well as it has speaks to, at times, the benefits of low tech. This system is so low tech that it actually has survived 40 years in relatively one piece. So what we're gonna have to go through with the cameras, the smoke infiltration study, finding out which of these pipes have gone bad, which ones haven't, and then digging up, going through, and in this case over here, completely regrading the entirety of the system. Now, as a benefit, most of the base of this road was paved at one time. I'm gonna give the founders of this park, I'm gonna butcher his name, I think it's Sior, I don't know how to pronounce it. But there was a lot of forethought. Like that water tank that we thought was 10,000 gallons is in fact 16,800 gallons. So they have definitely thought about, they put some thought into what this growth pattern was gonna look like.
And, you said you're gonna be great, because, you know, flood damage, I'm curious about, we have more and more heavy rains, is, you know, the compensation for that in the plan.
Yeah. And again, you can go, oh,
No, it's like,
we've lost the map.
no, it's like,
Okay, you can see the topo lines. You can see how this thing runs. And it runs straight downhill, right?
Right.
As you see where these lines get here, it's flowing straight down this way, which is why we're replacing catch basins. We're making sure that we're getting the stormwater runoff.
Do a new SWIP?
Yeah. They have a disturbance pattern right now. The way that they calculate SWIP is based off of new disturbance. And because this is all the existing infrastructure, it's less. Even then, we're actually still under an acre, even if I'm counting the overall package. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's good. It's okay.
Sure.
There might be one later.
We'll have you back for it.
Will we have any discussion on that? So
Well, it's not what you were supposed to be, so now I gotta go.
I have to go back
Yeah,
also.
you have to talk to the people and find out what's the.
What we were told in the beginning was that they would move up people, there'd be 2 new houses there, and they move people into that housing. replace
That is a
it.
possibility, that's not against.
Right, yeah.
No one's being forced out of their home.
Number 3 and 4 stated.
No, I agree with it.
And in fact, we actually
Forced out of their home, that it was an option for them to take over one of the newer ones, it's on a newer path. And then they will take their existing home, destroy it, build a new one, and grow. Hopefully, that's what I'm really positive that's what he's saying.
and I'm saying originally, when we were going through, what was the grant source? It was HUD. Right?
They don't have that, so there's no guarantee, only if they can get grant money, they're gonna do that.
Right.
No guarantee they're gonna do that.
No, but so you're
But
saying,
here's also the reality, no one else is gonna go through this, the amount of money that it's gonna take to fix what's up there.
No, I understand that too, but to be clear, they're not, it's not what I,
No insurance.
right, it's not what I heard initially.
basically you're taking a 40-year
Because I thought what I heard
pilot for
initially was
infrastructure development.
All right.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Which doesn't turn out.
Right. Anything else?
No,
All right, thanks.
There's a lot of questions, thank you so much.
thank you.
We tried, thank you.
What I would like to do.
Oh, yeah, we gotta hold on, yeah.
So we get,
Well, we also have to date this presentation as well.
maybe like, maybe what we'll do, again, at the next town board meeting, close to it, we'll come back. So there's missing 2 town board members right
I
now.
got to once again.
Well, I can't, they just wanted another video, they missed the meeting, we shouldn't have to sit there.
I have a request though.
Things
I
are,
have a
yeah,
request. Can-
Any more questions?
All right, very good. Thank you.
Sure, Joe.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm gonna charge Jeremy here. So these are actually the original, these are the 2010s.
right.
Paul could not find this in your records. Tom McGovern had this tucked away in the back of his office.
So this is
With
going
a
to.
signed copy from the.
This is a 2010 copy from Hector.
We're gonna rebuild your records.
Right. I will get this to Paul in person.
Perfect. Thank you. You will, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the,
Thank you.
one of the things that was here, part of the pilot is that they will pay for our pilot attorney. Thanks, $1,200.
The other question you forgot to ask is they would pay in, full up front. And we could potentially put that money into our accounts and get our.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that's what the town of Ulster got out of it.
Well, you put another, each year, it says here on January 1st, they will give us a full $59,000.
So for a year, you get potentially 3-4% just on your interest and earnings. I'm just saying it's. you should- you should-
No.
They're due, the first, yeah, they're due between the first of the year and the end of that,
And-
not everybody pays them.
Not everybody thinks.
See, the only thing that this shows, they will build up the infrastructure.
Yeah,
Not necessarily the housing.
Right, well, that's a John, like 10 years ago, he added, like, the 250 that we have on our side, that was not there 10 years ago. He added a whole bunch, nobody's on it, I mean, I know he went through and did a whole lot of work. It had to be like, maybe it was before 2010, okay, 15 years ago.
Should we put the infrastructure in for those extra?
Right, put the,
We're empty pads here.
empty pads, right,
It's 25.
right, I'm over. That's, yes.
But again, like, this is, the intention of this whole program literally is affordable housing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's still, whatever they do up there, they're gonna have to upgrade the road system.
Yeah, but what if you guys approve this and then the funding process?
So it's already affordable housing.
They have.
What's up there is it's affordable housing. If you guys want to increase the infrastructure for these people, give them that bonus so that they have clean water, they have septic for the next however many years. That's what you're looking at. It's.
But we're sure that we're not taking that road over as a town road.
Right.
Yeah.
But that we're not having the money for that. Thanks. That would be a big, yeah.
Okay. All right.
They need to maintain, they should have a road maintenance agreement or something with the town that states that they'll be able to maintain the road in such a manner that these fire trucks can get.
What I'd like to do is,
When they go through the site plan review and all that stuff, and all that needs to be addressed, it has to meet certain criteria. You know, it's different.
We have to be in conjunction with,
Right. All right.
all right, now we're going to the public hearing. Public hearing is, Justice Court reduction of justices. All right, now,
So it's public hearing, the public talk and then.
well, we made some changes there. Anybody wish to talk about that?
Want to open a public hearing?
Well, yes, well, I make a motion to open the public hearing on the Justice Court reduction process. The justices, second,
Okay.
all those in favor?
Okay. There's nobody signed up.
Okay.
Riley's still on board.
Right.
But there's nobody, sorry, there's nobody current.
Go ahead.
Public hearing's open.
Let's be spoken.
You're on.
Am I on?
You're on. You're on and you're on.
Thank you all again for your time and commitment to the town. And I wanted to share some thinking that on this potential reduction of our judges. My understanding is that even the small towns surrounding us currently maintain 2 judges. The idea that we may save money, to me, it's not a lot of money. And secondly, it would be a reasonable expectation that Judge Parker and his staff might say, well, we've got a heavier workload, so give us a raise. That would be a reasonable expectation. that they would get more money if it's concentrated into one position. Thirdly, it's good to have diversity in terms of staffing here, as opposed to concentrated on one person who's also needs some kind of legacy. We need some kind of future judge who's experienced as well. So, lastly, I think that before you make a decision on this, that you need to consider all the pluses and minuses. So instead of making a decision tonight, to take more public hearing and responses to this. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else wish to talk?
I didn't sign up for it.
Can't talk anymore.
Huh? Sign me up. Mike Schultz. I'd just like to say that we experienced a similar situation years ago when Judge Gorelli left. And we thought about going to one judge. And at that time, I sat on the Judiciary Committee that nominated judges up in Albany for the Third Judicial. And I got scolded quite heavily by the head judge at that time, Judge Cerisi. His statement to me was that justice has no price.
Justice.
And
Price.
he was pretty adamant about that. And I think that the diversity of the two judges give you, even though we're a small town, I think that it's better to maintain two than to drop down to one. Just my opinion and what we went through on our board back in 2006, 2007. And just my humble opinion.
Thanks, Mike.
Anybody else wish to speak? All right, I make a motion to close public hearing for one.
I'll second.
All in favor? All in favor? Aye. All right, I just want to add on to this thing here. The reason why we asked to do this kind of thing is because if you look at the documents coming through here, like Judge Parker in 5 years dealt with 16,000 cases at the same time that Judge Hotberger only did 736 in a sense. So the fact is that we want to move it this way. We got new information. New information is that we thought that this biennial, which means that basically that whoever takes the new position right now has to run for re-election in November of 2026. We got new information. No, it doesn't affect justices. So in other words, the only time we can remove that position, that judge position, is after Judge Hotberg's term expires, which is in 2027.
Well, you can vote to remove it, but it doesn't go into effect until that term expires.
Right, which means that.
So there's no rush to get this done now, as long as it's done before the next election. Or not the next, 2000, if you guys decide. So it gives you time to contemplate some of these things and potentially see once, you're statutorily required within 30 days to appoint someone to fill this vacancy. So that can be something you can address tonight.
Yes.
And then you guys can feel out and see if it's still an issue
It
or.
warrants discussion, pros and cons, way more discussion than just.
Yeah. All right, so the thing is though that, as Matt has stated, that we have 30 days to appoint the justice.
Yeah, 30 days from July 8th.
July 8th. Otherwise, Kathy Hochul or Lieutenant Governor can appoint a judge for us. So I make the motion here that we have a resolution right now that I pass around. And this resolution is to appoint the town justice. And the fact is also that we will bring this resolution up next year or the year after that. We have time for that, to do that kind of thing. And so the resolution here.
We asked for candidates, correct? Did we publish for candidates?
We did not.
How did we get candidates? How did we get candidates?
Well, here's the thing, we have to do it today.
So how did we get candidates?
Well, the candidates were, the Hurley Democratic Committee has selected a person who's going to be running on
But
the
I
election.
believe there was, didn't at the last meeting, when there was the discussion on it, there was discussion to reach out and see if there is any candidates. And that's,
We haven't done that. We haven't reached out to them.
Well, I don't know if any, you know, the Democratic Party sent out a letter to that effect, but the town is not all in, on that mailing list. So
I'm a registered Democrat and I did not receive that letter.
it was an email to people who sign up. I don't know.
Well, I was on that list at the moment.
You never,
I never got it either. No, that's true. Signed up.
so
And I've registered for that email list and subsequently do not receive the emails.
I'm not in charge of mailing anything, but I was my understanding. that-
regardless, whoever's appointed now would fill out through the rest of the year. And I'll touch base with you because, there should have been a certification sent upon Roy's death from clerk's office, so that
There was,
the position
the
is.
Board of Election was notified.
Okay, so they are.
They're notified.
Can I make? So it will be on
November 4th.
on the ballot.
Yes, it
And this person's only serving through the end of the year, and whoever is elected in November will be taking a position.
Until they don't have to run.
Then they would have to run at the end of
2027.
whenever Roy's term ends.
So they wouldn't have to run next year at all, so whoever, okay.
So they have.
Or if we pass the resolution eliminating the position before then
They run
they
until
would just
the end
end
of
when
2027. it'll be
Roy's
over.
term would have
Okay.
ended.
You still need an interim judge.
So, but the person that's named here will be on the ballot in November, so,
So not as a result of any action. You guys can't, well. the
No,
board
not,
can't-
not, right, but
That's separate and
That's
distinct
separate
from what the
and
board.
distinct.
So basically what it
The
is,
board is just appointing someone to act temporarily
to the end of
until
this
the
year.
end of this year. And
I don't know if you want to cast it, when you only have till August.
August
eighth.
eighth.
We don't need
August-
it, we don't,
August 7th.
we don't need it
Well, you-
until the
Well,
12th, so.
that's when you're supposed to. You're not gonna get in trouble if you decide to go a little further than 30
I know.
days. There's no penalty. So if I want to post it,
penalty is that there's
Like,
other
Mr. Wyman,
people.
yeah, please, you know,
Um, You know, it's up to you guys what you do. I think, that you personally, I've dealt with justice courts in every single capacity you can potentially think of, okay? I've handled all sorts of local justice courts. I've handled this justice court for over a decade. I've handled New Paltz Justice Court. I've handled all over, okay? One of the most important things, honestly, like there are lay judges who are good. And one of the things particularly that will affect this appointment is you want an attorney judge because they can immediately get on the bench. A lay judge will have to go take the classes before they can even legally take the bench. By that time, we're going to be dealing with October or so anyways. There's a huge advantage to having an attorney judge. I, you know, we all have experiences with this attorney. They're more than qualified. The statute basically says if you determine that somebody would be qualified to take this position, that's the only, basically thing.
when Mike Jordan passed,
Yeah.
I went out, I talked to I went to other municipalities and said, is there any other, anybody that would be interested? And I did receive multiple names, and they were all attorneys. And we had somebody sit in for that.
An attorney, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, that's a very valid point.
That's important information.
It's a very
And
valid.
if they're attorney, then they don't have to go through. all
They can
the-
sit on the
Right,
bench.
right.
New York State is actually trying to make that a ruling, but they're not.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But they've been trying to make that.
But what's probably gonna happen the next few years is they're gonna eliminate justice courts altogether. It's like smaller district courts where they have effects.
Seriously.
So that's much more likely until we kind of start the process with the district, court, like the rain court.
Yeah.
So this might be, maybe that's-
But,
I nominate that.
So
you want to go through this?
Yeah, I just needed to ask questions, that's all. I'm good.
All right, so let me read this resolution to appoint the town justice. Whereas due to the passing of the Honorable Roy Hockford on July 8, 2025, his office of town justice for the town of Berlin has become vacant. And whereas town law section 64 empowers the town board to appoint a qualified person to fill the vacancy of this office until a commencement of the calendar year following the first annual election in which the vacancy may be filled. And Whereas the town board of the town of Berkeley finds that Attorney Tracy Kellogg is qualified and willing to fill a vacancy until the office is filled in the next general election. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Berkeley to appoint Tracy Kellogg to serve in the office of town justice until December 31st, 2025, whereafter the next duly elected town justice will take office. Is there discussion?
I'll second.
Second,
I was just gonna say, was that a motion?
that was a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
I think what Matt said, that if we chose somebody else, who's had an attorney, it'll take a while before that person gets on. And this is only gonna be for about 4 months.
We're gonna know who's gonna fill out the rest of the term after November, or the rest of.
Right, after the,
And in the meantime, you guys can further discuss and figure out whether it's worthwhile, given the volume that is being reported here, to keep that position past the next election or to.
So we had 2 more years to discuss this, right, about reducing the,
I know that Roy was not well for a while, so maybe things just kind of went by because he couldn't handle it. So maybe we'll get to see if it increases.
well, I know for a fact, speaking to some of the troopers that came in the cases, because they're the ones who signed the justices. And they would always prefer the justice, John Parker, because they felt that,
Right, that's what I mean, so now then,
now it has to be.
right, so let's see what happens. We'll see.
Kick him, Debbie, kick him.
I did.
Thank you.
She tried
I
to, right?
did.
I blocked it. Any further discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Tracy.
Last week. Thank you.
You got one black robe you can put on?
There's one
We
back.
get bagels now?
Thank you. And I want you to understand that I pushed very diligently, not because I'm dying for this position. Sorry, I put that use of terminology. Not because, but because I really do feel that it's important that you have 2 justices. That as a resident of the town and having gone through what I went through here towards Hurley, because I was a Hurley resident at the time, and having gone through similar situations in Woodstock, I think that it's very important, especially as we're aging out and that there's been a large amount of things across the desk. I personally do not have a tremendous amount of criminal knowledge. I am sure that I will be getting a very intense practical from people. But I think it just is really important to the town that we have 2 justices. So, thank you.
So you saw that her appointment is immediately.
So I need to come and get sworn in.
And as soon as
Yeah, I have to reach out to I'm assuming I have to reach out to the court.
Your ADAs and your court clerks.
So, I mean, I have absolutely no clue what my next step is, other than I don't know what my next step is.
measured.
I know, and I.
Then you see when you go to the screen. Officer, the first step is the black robe.
But, so I apologize for some of the, intense calls about keeping 2 judges, and, I thank you, and we'll go forward. All right, I guess that will bagels not this week.
Darn. Does the town clerk have any particular obligations to school or is it all? Good night, Valerie.
So as long as you've already notified the county that, that this, is gonna be on ballot, because of vacancy, there's nothing else that you need to do for this purpose, other than making sure that everything is public record.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, next public hearing is, turn extent to the highway superintendent. That's a motion to open public hearing number 2.
So the public hearing for the justice, we're
I think we did, did we?
closed.
I'm sorry.
I know we weren't taking any action. I'm not. Just-
No.
Just-
No, oh, yeah, no,
Have
no.
the public hearing.
Right, yeah.
Just
No motions.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mike.
I make a motion to close public hearing for 1.
Second.
Second.
You guys already closed it.
Because everything's.
So we did.
Yeah, you guys already closed.
I was just, I was just wondering.
The next one.
Yeah, so
You have to close
motion to open the public hearing, discuss.
Yes.
I make a motion to open up public hearing number 2. Do I have a second? I want to third. All in favor? Aye.
So would you like to speak, please?
Did everybody get the email that I sent you?
Yes.
Well, the poll that I did, out of the 20 towns in Ulster County, there's 13 4-year terms, there's 6 2-year terms, and there's 1 appointed. Spartanburg doesn't have enough residents, so they had to go and hire outside of town, so they had to go to an appointed. 2 of the towns currently are in process of doing the 4-year term, Hurley and Denning, and 2 other towns are discussing it. They all, I think in the next 2 years, you'll see every town in Ulster County go through a 4-year term for highway. It gives the highway superintendent the ability to do long-term planning, gives more stability, and it's not a political position. So looking into the future for Hurley, I think it will behoove us to move that direction. The voters ultimately, if you guys decide tonight, ultimately the voters will decide if they want 4 years or not. And I think it's prudent that we look at that and let them have their say. And that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, I'll answer them. But I think that you know that highway is a long-term planning position. It's a lot of work. And I haven't seen a bad highway superintendent in Ulster County in the last 25 years, except for one, maybe 10 years ago, not in Hurley, but in another county. So people do a good job of electing who they need to serve, to take care of the highways, who's going to be up in the middle of the night, looking to make sure the roads are safe and whatnot and whatnot. I think it's, again, it's the future. It's for the future. It's not, I'm not looking at it personally for myself, but for the future of the town, I think we need to do.
Sure.
I'll keep my remarks brief. As a former member of the board, I really think that having a stability, especially in the highway superintendent position, is paramount for the town board. You know, the times in the last few years when things were not amicable between the highway superintendent and the board, realistically, this town, it's like a good portion of the budget is the highway budget, right? And having stability in that position and, you know, a level head and a working relationship goes a lot further than not. And so keeping that office on a longer continuum, I think is really, you know, at the same length as a town board member as opposed to the supervisor is definitely a benefit to the town. So I think, you know, I think you're on the right track with this one. So you'll go down on the right side of history. On this one, but maybe not on the other one. Maybe not.
Anybody else wish to speak?
But
Judge Tracy.
Your Honor.
I'd love to speak. However, I just realized I don't think I'm allowed. So as the one.
You haven't been sworn.
Yeah,
You haven't been sworn yet, so this could be the
I
last time.
have to be a clinical.
In the words of Pop Staples, this could be the last.
Anyway, I do think it's a good idea. I'm a little bit concerned about whether all positions should be a 4-year position, but I think that highway is a good position to have as a 4-year, because generally the people who are running for that position have technical skills that other people do not have,
Voice of longevity.
and it just benefits the town. So anyway.
One thing I want to say, that you mentioned also, the last time board meeting, we still talked about extending the supervisor's term, and you, Clark, I disagree. Position of supervisor is a political position, and, you know, if you want to ensure that you get reelected, do a good job.
Yes.
They're all political. And I think, however, the clerk's job might be a little different.
Well, just that anybody can have those jobs. Not anybody can do a highway superintendent.
Right.
It's gonna take somebody that's got a little bit of.
I agree.
And not
knowledge in that area.
the decision's not gonna be ours. That's what I'm talking about.
My dog, I mean, that's all day.
Congratulations.
I got turned down.
Yeah.
No.
But we're a different type.
Yeah, and the thing is also, I've been working with my shoulders, 6 years, 7 years, right? And, I've not heard, except from the board, any complaints about my role, and the fact that I've had a lot of compliments about what you do. Yeah. I'm just saying, the decision.
This is not just about me, it's about the future of the town.
But it doesn't mean more than longevity is that I was protected.
I agree.
All right, Larry, just talking about the.
I make a motion.
Well, can I just say one public comment? My only concern is with the biannual law, town law 80. I don't know whether you can legally put this on the ballot for this year as opposed to having to wait for the even year. So, yes. And this is the county said this?
And what's gonna happen basically is that it's only gonna be a 3-year term.
Correct.
Because you're part of the biennial. You won't have, you
Well,
won't.
he's got to run next year regardless.
No, we adopt this and the voters voted in on referendum.
So January 1st, you
Then
got
it
4
will
years.
be a 3-year term instead of 1 year.
Right.
And like I said, the voters, let the voters decide and,
So in other words, so if the vote,
and I could be wrong, I'm not 100% on that.
all right, well. let's put the other- let the voters.
I believe when you do put it on the ballot, referendum, do it on an election year, one vote. Yeah.
You know, my concern is just that post January 1st of this year, you're not supposed to be putting questions on the ballot unless it's an even. So,
There was an even year, correct, because it's a supervisor.
but if the county's saying it and you guys can go forward, I'm just putting that out there for you. But, you know,
Well, what happens if we do it and then the county will say we can't?
We'll do it next year.
Right. Is that right?
Business
or somebody challenge it.
Like I said, it's not about me, it's about.
After it's passed, that it goes to the challenge. But again, that's something that.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Okay, I think we should find out before third.
Well, you don't have time.
We don't have time.
Oh, okay.
It's gotta be before we do it.
Okay.
Well, we can do it. Voters can say yes or no, and county says you can't do it. And do it next year. Okay.
They're basically.
Make a motion to close public hearing. In favor? All right, I make a motion.
So basically just put it on.
The referendum.
Mandatory referendum. And not just. Can I, just tell me again what your concern is?
So what went into effect this year is the annual law, so that's elected officials with the exception of justices and also DAs, other things like that. As well as questions being put to the elected, they're just supposed to be done on the evaluation. So that's one of the reasons why they're talking, you know, if someone got elected this year, whether they have to run next year on a sheet. Elected for the 2-year term when they currently is, or for a 4-year term. Okay. But again,
But that doesn't go into, that goes into effect when? That change goes into effect in
January
January
1st, 2025. So
It's in effect now.
there is current litigation about it. Litigation was brought. They tried to get it directly to the Court of Appeals, which is the New York State High Court, that they said basically this question isn't appropriate before us, send it back to the 4th Department. There was a decision in the 4th Department upholding it back in May. That may be appealed as well. So as far as I know, the litigation is not open.
I think the next hearing.
So you're saying right now, technically right now in 2025, you're not supposed to put anything on the ballot?
Technically, that's what the law says. That is but on even.
But however, if we did the justices, that can.
Justice is
The
different.
justices
I know that, but I'm saying.
Other than town justices.
I know that. I'm
Or
saying
town
yes.
offices with 3-year terms.
Right.
Prior to January 1st, 2025.
So this is new till next year.
Well, I was
20
thinking,
to 25, it went into effect January 1st.
oh, we still litigating, so I was like, go ahead, let's go through it, because you know, how to go to the.
Advice?
What are you guys doing all three?
Jeremy. I'm sorry.
Why not?
I went. So by putting it on there, knowing that we're not supposed to put it on there, putting it on there, does that open us up to any?
Someone can potentially challenge it.
But that law is not been signed yet. And there's, in the next hearing, September 8th.
No, it was passed in January. It's being challenged.
Right, September 8th is the next
So it's
hearing.
on, is it on the books? It's on the
It's
books.
on the
It's
books
signed.
and went into effect.
But even some challenges, just, it wouldn't happen, and that's all. That's a challenge, not like they're gonna do this for money or something. We're gonna have to be effective.
I'm just telling you my legal take on it, but you said, if you want to talk, you spoke with the county board of elections.
Yeah. They said that if we got it done, we'd have to submit it by August. What? August 4th.
Yeah, I'm just giving you.
The question is whether it's gonna be a 1 year or 3 year. It's not a question of whether you can put the term in.
No, the statute specifically says, questions that may be proposed, to duly qualified, have to be done on even years. So, but
This
again.
is not an even year.
But I don't think it'll hit it and putting it on the referendum to vote.
So it's up to you.
So did you hear what you just said? It doesn't prohibit us from putting it on a referendum for the voters to vote on, but you're saying that's what it
I'm
it
saying
says
that's
we're
what
not
the-
supposed to.
Well, what the laws trying to call these to even years.
So if we weren't allowed to, they would put it on the referendum.
Right.
So if it gets on there, then,
If it doesn't get on there, then.
right, it may not get on there if it's not supposed to be, but if it doesn't.
We can vote on this thing. And see if it gets a referendum. If it does, it does. If it
Right,
doesn't,
that's
then we'll do
what
next year.
We have to have Samara submit. You're gonna have to, Samara might have to submit.
I just give you guys decision, it's like you guys can take it, but it's up to you.
I make a motion to accept the extension, put it on the referendum for November 4th.
That's okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I guess if you're saying that if it's not allowed, they just won't put it on. All right.
I think that, like I said, I think there's a couple things that still have to get hashed out in the field. But,
I do understand what I'm worried about. I'm just worried about that we're basically passing a resolution on something that we're not supposed to. Right, I'm not arguing the merits of the resolution.
I think,
I agree with the resolution. I agree that it should be a 4-year term. I'm not arguing that.
I think there's gonna be some of the debate is gonna be on that technicality. But again, if it's a 1 year this year, and then the next time around, it's not as.
All right.
The next thing is all business. Delaware Engineering is presenting and at August 12th in the 26th meeting on the new water facility. I'd like, as many people to come hear this presentation on that time, because, the alienation has passed state legislators waiting on Kathy Opus to sign it.
They're gonna be at the firehouse or gonna?
This is gonna be at the firehouse and then here. 12th is there, and 26th is gonna be here. And so I'd like people to come in here because, it's gonna affect us all. So I'd like everybody to be here as much as they can. Okay, new business, stormwater managing officer of position. All right, the stormwater position deals with stormwater, obviously, and sewer, and it needs to have some sort of officer, stormwater management, SMO. stormwater management officer to comply with the state, the DEC and so forth. We have so far, it's a 5-year plan, and each year, you have to spend 20% of looking at the outfalls, where drainage, where sewer, where discharges come into the flood there, and to manage it, make sure that there's no, any kind of habit inside there. We started this process back 5 years ago when, Glenn Hofstadter was the building inspector, not just the building inspector, and nothing was done. What happened was, Ben hired 4 Economos as part of that. He did the first year, and then we hired Harold Castellano, who did the second year. And what happened, Harold did, he completed 75%. So we are 25% away. That must be completed by this year. September 31st. I would like to then have a proposal that we don't do it today, the resolution is to hire Harold Castellano. Now, some people have said that, why doesn't some people in the building department do that? And I'm getting from them. I had John talk to Paul Economist, and you spoke with Paul Economist, saying they need to have something. I've spoken to other building inspectors for other towns who have hired a part-time MS4 operator to do this kind of thing. Actually, I had it. I've spoken to the building inspector over in Ulster. It was also, he couldn't do it. He was too busy.
A little bit bigger than.
I know that, anyway, say, but they could have hired someone. And so basically it's that you have to do this. Many of the towns around there are non-compliant. What they do basically is they will do the annual report, which we have spent $4,000 on Bernier Larry's do the annual report for 2025. What we're suggesting here is that we'll have a resolution for the next meeting, Harold Castellano to do the interim reports, the annual reports, and also the monitoring of all the outfalls. We have 58 outfalls in the town of Delaware that needs to be monitored.
Why did Harold leave us?
Retired.
Well, he was already retired when he came here, so.
The thing is, he tried everything of those inspections. This is something different. He came to us asking, telling us that he would come back and do the same for this year.
What's our staff right now?
We have, Kim, we have Clark, Saul, Martina, and then we have a part-timer in, Clark.
And Martina is a full-time, so we have 2 full-times and a part-time. And this would be 2 full-times and 2 part-time.
Well, 2 part-time.
This is MS4. Well, I'm not counting it because she's in front.
No, but I'm saying,
I didn't say that.
things are with Harold, you know.
He's only gonna do the, I get you, he's only gonna do the small.
Right, it'll be 20, these maximum 20 hours a month. So it'll be 20 hours a month, and it'll go right through that minute. All right, before Larry.
Right, and Harold's already.
He's already done
He's already
it.
done it, so, and I would have no problem with that.
And he said he can do all of that in 20 hours a month for, till the end of the year.
He thinks that, he thinks he can do that.
I have no problem.
And then also, comes 2025, we'll sit down and see what we can do then. We have not budgeted for that.
Right, we're.
Just
That you come out.
so the board knows, we gotta.
It's gotta come out.
We're GIS and all the, then let's map it, everything kind of like, then it's good, because you guys have been doing that for years, it's good.
What is that?
I don't know.
What does that mean for us?
It'll help us with the stormwater drainage. So
Hey, it's been one.
No, that would have, you have pictures of it, and you click on it, it'll open it up, so we can
See, also what's happening is that the county is going through a municipal grant. And if they get the grant, they'll map everything. They have.
So it may not be a problem for the young.
Right, right. Well, this is what on day one. The thing is always sweet. So, what kind of different county and what's going through. Now, I spoke to Marbletown, their MS4 operator, MS4 outfalls. Those 4 outfalls in Marbletown are signed to early.
Did you ever look at the county, is that,
All
right, so I'll bring this up. Actually, I think we have to get started. And basically, what we are, we're 5% down.
That's doable.
All right, next thing, zoning board of appeals, secretary resignation, Stephanie Rice has resigned.
I just wanted to be an intern, but we got someone else. I realized she was trying to take it out of. Okay.
All right, so, at the time, we were posting the position online. I'm being, Samara is gonna be doing, organizing for us, and, until we find a replacement for Stephanie. I just have to let you know that, Samara's also, what it is, we pay $21 an hour for the, zoning board secretary. The union right now, Samara is hired temporarily, until we find a replacement. She must get paid $25 an hour, our standing rate. Plus,
For all the hours she works, or just the hours that?
That's ZBA. That's
Okay.
ZBA. Plus, also, that would make it overtime also.
It's you're killing me.
I no,
Unless somebody else wants to step up and be the secretary.
we're looking for secretary.
John's looking for more work.
I knew he was, that's why I said it.
He used to be
I
a
think he was
CPA
raising
chair.
his hand to volunteer.
Well, we,
I was on his ZBA, I remember her.
what we've done, what we've done is,
I'm not worried about the money.
no, what we've done is we have asked, people around, we've asked, Martin Francis, yesterday, if she knows in her dealings of people that are having ZBA secretary. One of the problems we have with ZBA secretary, it's not that difficult, it's a lot of training.
And it's such a small amount, you know, that's, and how about the mobile contact? What happened?
What kind of guy? Also political stuff, sounds like.
Right, but they must be using somebody.
Well, I was thinking, ZBA secretary, plus he's also.
Okay.
It's
I thought it was gonna do, okay.
Well, I've called in to ask him if he can do this also.
And, what about Molly that's here? Monday?
She goes up to school.
I think there's a conflict on the day of the zoning board meeting. He has a few hours a week available one morning.
Right, yeah.
Because she knows all the international different cultures, it's gonna be less hours. So, yeah, she'll do it in less hours.
I mean, she right now at this point, she actually wants to.
So the majority of the work she can do, can she do what she's at the desk here and then just get paid for the hours that she's serving overtime?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her if she can, squeeze it in. In her regular schedule.
But she really doesn't want to work more anyway. So,
She
Your
to do
ZBA
the
meeting,
zoning
what, 2 hours?
secretary plus her job in 40 hours?
Yeah.
No, she cannot.
Oh, didn't you just say she's already doing it?
She's doing it overtime.
It's overtime.
She's doing it, oh, she's been doing it. And that's overtime.
What she's doing right now, she's putting in this, the, bias.
We looked at the, it's okay stuff.
Do we even post it? Anybody?
No, well, she just, Stephanie just formally
I
resigned.
know.
So Mara was covering because she,
I know.
Whenever you can do it.
yeah,
We do tomorrow.
Use tomorrow. Yeah, okay.
Stephanie just.
So what's on the agenda for ZBA this month?
Nothing.
Well, they
So
don't,
then,
nothing,
so
they
they
don't
meet,
meet.
nothing there, so then, so then she shouldn't be doing anything, we should be hiring somebody right now then.
In August.
So let's talk about that.
Right, they don't meet in August.
That's what, that's why
That
we're
might
doing,
not
that's what
be
we're
as
doing right now.
nice as you think.
Yeah. Post it. Just post it.
As soon as I get it to me.
Yes, you also had somebody that was interested in-house. Maggie.
Yeah.
She just sent you all emails.
Right, that
But
was already-
she would tentatively sit in, to do that. And she potentially sits in and part-time that she doesn't, you know, she's no overtime.
Right.
Just saying.
All right, well, I guess we'll post it. Once it's there, so sit down and, interview.
Well, the zoning board is
I'd say.
gets to interview.
Yes.
Right.
Make sure that Josh Cody is part of
Yes.
it. John,
It's
we'll make sure that Josh Cody is part of it.
Yes, we want the interview
100%,
process.
100%.
Well,
And
No
the,
matter who it is, you should be.
so the thing is that we had it last time, we had, and then, we interviewed. Then Josh coming also.
That was for a plan.
that was for our plan.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
You should ask Josh Cole about any changes.
Yeah, 100%.
Who would be looking.
Josh Cody be involved, so.
Hold the,
Yes.
Right.
if they
Yeah, the whole board will be involved.
Yes, yes. So we're gonna.
As soon as she gets it to me, yeah, I mean, because she has the parameters, I think she's got a form.
She's got a form there.
As soon as she gets it to me, it'll be up in 5 minutes.
The reason why we waited,
Put it out, right?
the reason why we waited for this thing, because of the resignation. You guys, you had to make the resignation official, and that's what we did now. All right, next thing here is, SPCA contract update. The old SPCA contract had a loophole. And the loophole was that, what happened was that when, the dog was picked up, whereas the owner can go to the SPCA, claim the dog, they would send us the bill. We would then take that bill, contact the owner and say, hey, we want money on this thing. A lot of times they said, no.
That was changed. That was changed. That was not that way when I established.
Well,
SPCA.
the contract that they sent me, which I used to sign, I asked them to put the stipulation that you will only return the dog once you are paid. Okay, you got it right.
There was always a receipt. The receipt then came to here, or I left here and then went to there, and then they were.
Either way, they do either way.
No. They have to come here and pay first, get a receipt, and then they take it to the SPCA.
Now the thing is, they will notify the, they can notify the owner, they'll come pick up the dog there, pay them over there. And the only thing that we have to pay is a stray dog that has no owner. Then it comes falls on us.
Right?
Yep.
So then they receive a bill from the SPCA. They come here, they.
No.
They're gonna pay
They're gonna
it. Because it's a weekend, you know.
That's correct.
Well, you're not getting your dog anyway.
No, the SPCA you can, but we're not.
Oh, we're not.
We're not.
Yeah. So if they could pay it there, that's great. Otherwise, you know, the bill will rise what stays there.
Yes, so that still disregards our ability to hold them, liable.
But no, things are, they won't release the dog.
We can still bring it to hold them liable for expenses, but regardless, this is something you just sent me the contract, your proposed contract today, so I need to review that.
Problem is a lot of times you're getting out of town dogs that people come in, so that we cannot go after them with tax. For example.
No, we're not letting them pass. We can bring a civil action to recover costs.
What happened was,
Yeah.
what happened was, I thought, wow.
Is this the contract? Is it?
Yes.
To
me, it makes sense that we'd be out of a computer every day.
Right, we're not doing anything tonight.
Or hope not.
No, that's it. No, we're not.
Okay, no.
I didn't even.
See, I signed the contract on this one here. But it hasn't been sent out,
Well, you can. A resolution would be preferable.
Sorry. All right.
No, I'm just saying, we had a case of, the dog was picked up in town early, the owner lived in Haddon.
Right.
They came down, picked up the dog, we got the dog for 560, I think it was. And, we contacted the phone, or whatever. No response.
Yeah, so I think it makes much more sense if they pay SPC, either pay us and then don't get it or pay them directly, that's great. That's no problem.
That's what we wanted to do.
Right.
There was always a process. They got a receipt from the SPCA, they came here with the receipt. They paid, and then we were able to receive those monies.
But you're gonna give that to the SPCA anyway, because they're gonna go.
Well, then they SPCA will bill us.
So it doesn't make any sense to make that extra step.
Yeah.
No, I don't have no problem with them paying it there, but it has to be.
Well, read the contract.
All right.
Yeah, let's
So
look
we'll-
at the contract one.
Okay.
Yep, next.
I signed it already, but it hasn't sent out.
Right.
What next?
Next one is,
What's the next? The appointment to ethics committee?
yes, appoint, Kevin Kozlowski to the ethics committee. He was interviewed by Joan Passion. Joan Passion.
Okay.
Skip to,
That's it.
We're gonna make a motion? Yep.
Yeah, because they can motion to approve them.
I second.
I'm sorry, this is the ethics.
Second?
We're doing the ethics, but if we know we skip one, we'll go back.
So this is bombs was.
Kevin was asking.
Second.
She did.
No Costion, and reviewed
And approved. So now we have,
this one.
I know, 3, 4, 6, 8, how many? We have 3, 4, we have 6 members. We have actually 5, members and 1 alternate. Okay, there's a co-signer and alternate.
Was that on the resolution?
Last month.
The determining resolution was to make her,
Yes.
We admit not, we actually put on it, and then we made an amendment,
We amended the,
make her an alternate.
we amended the resolution and we made her an alternate.
So I see, yep, we made, that was an alternate, and it was amended as is, okay. We also.
Okay, next one is resolution to approve the expense.
You got it.
You gotta vote on it.
No, I said.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. You want me to come forward?
Yeah. So I'll motion the resolution to approve expenses for zoning board of appeals members, that should be members, to attend the New York Association of Towns 2025 planning and zoning school, which is being held in Kingston this year. There's no travel.
Well, have you read this, because it mentions 2 people in the beginning and 1 in the result.
Right, it's 3. I don't know. I don't know this.
So,
That's amended.
I've no problem doing all 3 of them, but.
You see this resolution?
And she was the first one, because she just, and then she just did an update of the original.
Yeah.
thing.
So it needs to be, and that's why.
So we just have to
members
put all
need to
3 names.
amend the title to members. And then in the second whereas we need to add
Members.
Karen Gill.
Well, we already, approved Karen.
We already approved Karen?
We approved Karen.
No, we did not.
Because it shouldn't be all of this.
We did not approve Karen.
Table this.
We tabled it, so we would have 1 resolution approving all 3 of
So
them.
we have to get Karen.
So we have
So
Karen
add
up there.
Karen Gill to the second whereas, and then underneath resolved, we need to add all 3 names.
Correct.
CBA members, Karen Gill, Josh Grove, and Kara Schneider.
And we would take out the mileage, right? Since it's in Hastings, you have a $200.
Yeah, there should be no mileage.
$200 plus mileage.
Yeah, there should be no mileage, it's in Kingston.
It's 2. Whatever.
200.
Yeah,
200 should be 300.
Right.
3 members.
Right, $100 per person.
Right, so 300.
So
All
300.
right.
So there's no
Mileage, 2 miles, okay, fine.
Total of 300 to John, and Kara. Okay.
Huh?
I didn't have it.
I'm
sorry.
I did right.
I didn't like it. But we did. So, this is quick.
Right, the $100 is the
Right,
fee for the,
that's fine.
yeah.
All those in favor?
Did we get a
You
second?
need- you need a step- No, Deb motion, you need a
Wait,
step.
wait a minute, so I'm gonna motion it as amended.
As amended.
Second, is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion? Favor?
Aye. Resolution, this is what you were talking about, John, with Jerry Lee.
Yes.
This is a resolution to establish a capital project 33 for legal defense fund. This is at the recommendation. This is at the recommendation of RBT. We have $225,000 in a reserve fund in the general fund. The RBT our account said we should make it into a capital fund. Maybe I need to identify it because frankly, unless when you first mentioned it, I never knew about this thing. All right, and so we want to resolve it into capital 33H for $255,000. And by the way, this account was put in place in the defense of New York City, pending us in New York City during the assessment and equalization rates. So this is something that we have decided, and I'd like to keep that money inside there because it might happen again. And if we get sued by New York City and we have to do a litigation, we're going to be used probably all.
Do you wanna,
So it just says legal defense fund,
For what?
For
For,
reservoir.
is it only?
So you're
for-
not applying any of this money towards the, any of the liability issues of these veterans?
Well, I mean, we put it this way, the money came in as a defense fund against, like, the New York State, doesn't mean that we use them.
Correct.
Right,
So it's a
so it's
reserve
just
fund.
basically
It's for legal defense.
legal defense fund. Okay.
Which you can determine, I mean,
What it
it's
is.
math, I mean, this is open for interpretation. How
Can
you-
we
how
do
you-
that and then just pass
Legal fees
resolutions
based
to
on-
draw out of it?
Do you turn them
What
all
was it,
that
specific
items?
It was that's like New York City.
It was
Right, so
reserved,
it's specifically,
It was a reserve fund though, so we're taking it away from the reserve.
it's a capital.
Do you want to further resolve that the money should be spent upon board
so
approval?
this
for specific
capital H fund was
purposes?
not previously.
No.
So, okay, so we're creating this now with money.
So the language needs to be determined now, how you want to use it.
Do we have to determine that now or can we make a resolution
Well, but this is
which
just
time we need it?
for legal.
Right, just right.
It's just open to
We're
interpretation.
not saying which specific, but we could use it for,
Any
for
legal.
lithium ion if we needed some.
If we need an action is brought by the town.
I have here, these are the resolutions.
Legal reserve fund instead of legal defense fund would be a better term.
We would be defending the town based on the usage of the money.
Right.
Well, here, this is the resolution that, this is 2008-54, January 28th, 2008, offered by Supervisor Bello, seconded by Councilman Briggs. All right. All right, whereas Town of Hurley is currently in litigation with New York City of New York Department of DEP concerning the assessment, therefore be it resolved to increase the general fund reserve fund 898, the funds fund by 225,000 and decrease the inappropriate fund balance by 225,000. So we did, that was specific, yeah, but that doesn't mean.
Reserve fund, but now we're moving to a capital H fund, which we can then change the.
You can change it.
We're gonna do that, right?
You can change the usage.
Yeah, when we get the board resolution.
We can leave it general and then just.
That's what I'm trying to explain to Matt. If he wants to leave that interpretation wide open like that, then that would be a broader usage of the monies. However, so you.
Legal reserve fund. Instead of a legal defense fund, we have the town.
Legal defense
So say
reserve.
sue another town.
Yeah, defense.
So.
I know you want to
Defense
change
is
it to
not-
reserve fund.
But it's like, okay, I want to have some discussion around it. Once he says. we
So-
can do that.
It's been necessary right now to transfer these monies if you're not even sure what you want to utilize them for. Yes, it is.
But you're not gonna use it for the other things, then it should be
Well,
transferred.
and you could use it for the other thing if the monies are there, and we do have to go back to battle for the assessment regulate,
2030
equalization.
So
But
you just
my
want to
point
call it a legal reserve fund?
That's, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You want to,
Be
your
revised.
interpretation.
We have several matters of litigation currently going on.
Yes,
I
potentially use it
know
for things
some of
like
you
that.
guys have signed invoices for just dealing with one of the matters that's currently, actually, yeah, that was the steer matter.
Right, see the matter, there's a $16,000. The litigation.
Isn't that a reserve, as the rest roll up?
No,
Can't.
Have you made an E and O?
that's tough. What it is basically, we pay for litigation out of our 1420 account. Now we manage to pay it out of, this
If you're creating
legal reserve.
this special fund for,
I think the point of tonight is the usage of it, so that if we want to establish a third party, environmental review, that we have those monies in order to do so, based on the best.
Right.
So my point is
And
the
I-
interpretation, however you're gonna assign this resolution should be made it available so that it's utilized for that principle. Or others.
Or others to do the same thing.
That would be my
so
suggestion.
the goal is to potentially use this for a third party environmental review.
Could be.
Potential.
Could be.
but not necessarily pertaining to a legal matter.
Oh. So that's what I'm saying, what's your interpretation, how you wanna use that?
We don't have to do it tonight, because there's nothing that's pending, so if you wanted to mull it over a little bit, give us more direction on the 12th.
So these are the resolutions.
So what do you call it? I have to call it some.
First meeting is very simply that RBT said that this has been on the books for.
Well, 2008, right.
And I don't even know about it. They were research, they found it.
Okay. Well, I mean, so I could wait 2 more weeks, you know, it's not gonna be something.
John, don't you agree it's better to put it in a capital fund than leave it as a reserve like that?
Then it's exactly what it can be used for.
That's a minute.
I mean, you're still getting the percentages based on the general, savings account, so there's no difference there, but for uses purposes, that's. Then, and then you have exactly for accounting purposes and audit.
That is pertaining.
You have that problem.
So, all right, so here's the thing.
A lot of resolutions.
Yeah, question is, like, and actually brought up there, that if, you call legal reserve fund.
Then it can't be used for a third party.
For a third party.
Because it's not the,
Where
it's
there's,
not
like,
illegal.
if it were as part of a pending lawsuit or something else, then that's something, but it's just.
Legal and environmental reserve fund?
Special purpose and legal reserve?
Why don't you mull it over and let us know on the 12th?
I figure out a name.
Why couldn't you acknowledge that's consultant fund?
Yeah, you can use it as.
It's a consultant fund.
They
Then you can
can
use it for attorneys, consultant attorneys, you have engineer consultants, you have.
Consultant reserve fund. So professional consulting.
Professional services reserve.
You
Consultant.
actually have some name in there.
Professional services.
Oh, yeah.
Professional consultant.
Professional consultant.
CWC was a veterans.
Professional consultant.
Services, no, service,
Professional service.
professional consultant services.
Does that include lawyers?
Yes.
Okay.
Consultant.
The engineers also.
Again, it's an interpretation.
The engineers, it could be, yeah,
That's what I'm trying to explain, so you want to utilize it so
Professional
that you're.
consultant
you can-
services.
yes.
And if we don't use it, you can always.
Yeah.
I mean, the contract being signed with them is always a professional services.
I think that's
Well, getting interesting.
So if you needed it for the professional consultant services.
You still would have to vote to use it anyway.
Right,
So,
exactly,
you know,
for
it's
something
not-
specific, right, correct.
But that falls within that broader.
Interpretation.
Professional
But it
consulting.
sets up a fund
Which
that we
would
can
be
then draw from.
financial consulting and
So,
consulting.
So use it like legal.
I'm gonna make that as amended. Yeah, this is resolution establish capital project 33H for professional consultant services. Be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to establish capital fund 33H lease, professional consultant services. And transfer $255,011.39 from the capital reserve fund 878 restricted into said fund. Okay, I motion that. I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Do we have to also now dissolve the capital reserve fund in said way?
Based on, that language should be in here. I don't know, Matt, what do you think?
Further amended?
Oh, he's zero.
You can leave it at zero,
That's just a-
but then eventually.
So that it still exists is what we're saying, you can go back to the resolution and close it, but it still does exist with zero in.
Well,
That's a
can we just,
Yeah, as long as it's not.
No, it still should be in here that it was closed.
right, transfer and close.
So
yeah.
you might need it.
Transfer
I know,
and
but you-
close.
I don't know, I just.
So the motion as amended would read resolution to establish,
Professional consultant services.
capital project.
Do you want to add it into this?
For professional consultant services, be resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to establish
Yeah,
capital fund 33H, professional consultant services fund and transfer 255,000 or 255 $2,011.39 from Capital Reserve Fund 838, and 878, and closing said fund.
Where are you sticking that one?
Right after the sheet said.
And
They said it's restricted and closing said fund.
And closing said fund.
Yes. Okay, so I motion as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's right side of history. That's what you. Okay, good. This is a resolution to classify a golf ramp upgrade as a type of severe action.
Sorry.
I'll second. Oh, yeah.
It is. I made a motion. Seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so okay.
And then there's still one, still a couple of things. Yeah. The records
Advisory board, yeah. And the transfer.
But there's something missing, I guess we put it in next month.
Referee advisory board?
Another one, changing, the retention schedule, what's retention schedule?
Right,
follow?
that's the record advisory board. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what it is here.
No, several years ago, we should have switched from MU to LGS, and that was a separate resolution, it's not in here. But,
But that was the vote, that was the one that was approved, that resolution was passed in 2023.
Yes.
did we find it?
Yes.
Yeah, we did find it.
Yeah, yeah, we
Okay,
found it.
we found it.
Right, so, yeah, that's why we're taking it out.
Okay, good, okay, thank you.
Okay, so,
So it's,
record advisory board.
yeah. Town's really resolution to establish the records advisory board. Motion that.
Well, all right, we want to talk about this,
Yeah, can you talk about that
Well,
one a
sure.
little bit?
The code of Hurley, chapter 40, article 3, section 410-15, provides that there is a records advisory board. One has not been established, and I don't know for how long period of time that's occurred. One needs to be established. And, yeah, it's in there. So we've discussed it and thought that the best persons to be on the board would be the town historian, the town bookkeeper, the supervisor secretary, and a town board member. And the board, there wouldn't be specific terms because those are the persons involved on an ongoing basis to review the policies for retention and purging of record management, to review the management program. And there's a few other items in the town code that it covers. So advice on the development of the records management program, review of the performance thereof, review the retention periods that are not covered by the LGS ones schedule. You know, we might provide advice on appraisal of records for archival value with the town historian and other such duties as enumerated in the code. So be it resolved that the town board of Hurley supervise and form the records advisory board consisting of the town historian, the town bookkeeper, supervisor secretary, and a town board member.
Those individuals holding those positions, was that what the Article 3, Section 410-15 is requesting?
Well, there's
The,
definitely
the actual article gives the supervisor.
I never heard of it.
There's no such thing as section, there's.
Article
we have our
3,
Chapter 40.
Chapter 40,
But
could be misprint.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't type it.
But my request is like a lot of times, like they have certain things that they want you to.
I'm trying to
Well,
figure
the
it out.
town supervisor is empowered to appoint people to the board.
Did they request like certain people?
Yeah, so if this exists, and, all right,
Just wanna
so
make sure we're getting.
section,
I have a-
chapter 40, subsection 15, says that it establishes it consists of representatives appointed by the town supervisor. and has suggestions as to who may be.
What's the suggestions, please?
And it says what their powers are. It says it may consist of the town auditor, the town historian, one or more representatives of the town board, or other individuals who may be beneficial to the duties of the record.
I thought he did.
Hey,
Okay.
But anyway.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Who's the town board member? Joe, he's not here.
Diane.
Diane.
Oh, is
Well,
that you?
Diane is- well, you can appoint her, you know,
Just did.
okay, but that doesn't have to be part of this resolution.
So it's already established, so basically.
Who established it?
It's in our local law.
And what is it? And it says those roles are there? So you don't-
Yes,
so-
it basically
We have
says
to
there
amend
shall
it?
be, so at some point there was a local law that created chapter 40 in this subsection.
Is it subsection 410 dash?
Now it's 40 dash,
Okay, 40 dash, so let's make that correction.
but also under technically,
So we're not establishing it, it's already.
it's already exists.
We just need to appoint.
We haven't, well,
But technically, it says that the town supervisor appoints them. But,
right,
So you don't even need a resolution?
we don't really need the resolution, but I suggested that we
I think it probably makes sense
to
to just
codify
have
who would be on
a resolution so we have better
And
record.
the resolution will say that,
Yeah, it looks like it was adopted in 1996.
And I don't think it's that since.
So we're not moving forward. with this
yeah, we're gonna still do this just to make it formal.
Right.
So we're
We'll
gonna-
codify it, but
The
not
law-
gonna
the law
establish
exists already.
Yeah, but we'll codify what the positions are.
Yeah, so it's basically appointing, resolution to appoint members
And
of
you
the
can put
record
Diana in?
advisory board.
No,
Diana Klein has to do.
no,
No?
no, because that could change every year.
But we're currently, you're adapting it right now for Diana.
We're specifying that it will consist of the town historian, the bookkeeper, the supervisor, secretary, and a town board member to be appointed by.
That's what we're doing right now.
But we don't have to appoint a specific member, we just
That's what
want
this
to,
resolution's gonna be.
You gotta have a resolution to appoint.
The resolution's gonna be to appoint.
well, that, so you'll have to change it every year.
Technically, under the law,
You don't.
It's supposed to be appointed by the
Supervisor.
not by the.
So he can just appoint.
Yes, you can appoint.
So we did that at the organizational minutes then.
Yeah.
So we haven't done that. So
Yeah, no, there's still, I'm 100% agreeing. To be honest, I think that they should do it as board anyway, so there's no
Yeah.
issue with it.
So
But
if you appoint a specific person in this resolution, then you have
And
to
next year you have to do it
change
again in
it.
the organizational
Right,
minutes.
But
do it
in the
organization meeting.
Is that
Next year.
sufficient?
Do it every- with every other board.
That town board person would change, but based on what Mike wants, whoever's in office.
So you'll do that in the organization meetings every
But right now we
year.
have nobody.
Right.
So he's gonna appoint somebody.
So you want to put Diane Klein's
So it
name
should be
in?
supervisor, secretary, and Diana Klein, town board member.
We have historian also supervisor.
It's in there.
And I spoke to the town historian about it to let him know
Spoke to,
He's gonna want to.
that he would be part of this board. You might come in with a question here and there about historical significance of documents.
you talking.
I did.
And you-
Second.
I motioned,
And you spoke to us in narrative?
Yes.
and I'm gonna read,
As amended.
and as amended, I motion as amended.
And have you spoken also to Wayne?
Yes.
Okay, so these are, all right, so.
So yes, we talked about it because we need someone else in the office who can sign off on putting the stuff in the shredder box. You know, I mean, we have LGS one, we're empowered to,
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Diana, should vote for herself?
Wow, that's a good
I'm
question.
not sure. No disrespect to Diana.
No?
We have to
Can Diana vote for herself?
Well, it was it's only a formality
Really
anyway.
shouldn't be, but-
All right, well, then why don't we just table it and we'll do it next time? I mean, we haven't had it all this time.
Sorry.
Right.
No, that's good.
Table.
So let's table it.
And what's a transfer station?
And the last thing here is the transfer station. I just want to make it known to everybody here. We have on the first page. It's not a resolution, it's just new business.
It's just discussion.
What it is basically is that the amount of fees that we are being charged by is getting outrageous. This year, they raised the price from $115 a ton to $135 a ton, plus an 8% fuel charge
This year,
this year.
2025.
So in other words, the increase was $21.60. Yeah. That was okay, that was bad enough. We just got notified that they're gonna raise it again next year, 26, at the same rate, which is like,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right, and so basically what's happening is that, we have to do something. I mean, we raise our fees considerably. That might not be able. In other words, we have to make sure that the transfer station
Stays
stays.
cost neutral.
Right.
Right, we don't make money, but we certainly don't pay any money into it.
Right, that's
So
what
the idea is we're gonna have to do a bunch of analysis to try to figure out what that means. Does that mean we have to raise the fees, right, right, so we just need to do the analysis and bring that forward to the board, and then, obviously there'll be some decisions to be.
Well,
There's lots of
Let me
discussion.
just get the figures right now. As of June 11, 2025, we've taken in $137,806.35 revenue from the transfer station. Our expenses so far, $77,810.69 salary. Our refuse collection is $47,808.94. Recycling is $5,518. That's $120,000, it's about $123,000. $130,000 actually. However, what we don't count in here is retirement, it is social security, it is benefits, taxes, which in certain cases is something like $23,000 per person. Yes. So and we have basically we have one family and two siblings healthcare. Yes. So right away we're talking about, so right now, not including that, we're about even, close to being even. No problems going to rise. It's like with this new increase in expenses, this is going to be outrageous.
Oh,
One suggestion that's being made is close to transfer station.
Well,
I think you have enough. Well, first of all, the transfer station was made so it would be self-sufficient, so those of us that use it, we would pay the increase. If you find out, if you raise it and then you find out we don't use it, well, then you close it, but you don't close it before you've given us the opportunity to.
right, and because bring it to the public and have.
Because waste management is gonna be raising their,
I know
because
that,
they're also gonna have.
we raised our prices this year. We got complaints.
But you still use your order, get complaints, but.
I know.
Waste,
But we had,
like, everybody else is charging that same. We're not the only one.
They're always gonna be increased too. If you have personal garbage pickup, then you're gonna pay
Right,
a higher
so the
cost,
answer-
that's gonna go up.
Right, so it
If
doesn't
they take
matter.
it to Upper, they're gonna pay a higher
what I'm
price.
saying is that,
But we have to keep it, it's gotta,
You have to make sure that it was, right.
well, what it is, like, for example, like this year, we actually, raised the out-of-town permits from $60 to $90.
I know, that's
So we can raise we're paying people are paying 20 cents per ounce.
Per pound.
Per pound rather.
Yeah, but it was 8 cents.
I wish I had that money coming in.
No, it's not.
we'd be taking all kinds of money.
20 cents, 40 cents, it's 2 pounds. Okay. So that could go to 25 cents. But the other thing is that we're gonna start doing the composting program. So we're gonna try to pull the organic materials out of the waste stream. And we need
We
to.
need to raise it even more.
No,
Right.
no, that will
No,
have,
but
that
that's
will be
the
done here.
heavy
That's the
part.
heavy part.
Well,
That's the heavy part.
But it's still gonna cost more for whatever we send, so there's a lot of analysis has to be done.
Right. But I'm gonna ask too, because I see, there's a lot of stuff about the county doing it countywide compost. How does that affect us? Or are we doing a private?
This is,
We're not.
Okra is, has a grant, they want us to support a grant for them to get a compost facility coming through there. And,
And we got a grant.
and if we're, well, no, this is their own grant. And what they would do, that suppliers is another container, which means another cost to us.
Yeah.
They would then, we would have another container, the compost goes in, they would charge us.
So they would pick up the
They
container.
would make a different grant. I know that, I know that.
So-
I'm just saying, we had a big discussion with the supervisors meeting, like the same, every supervisor was upset. This whole thing back to it. And, some, in other words, when we supported that was programmed, he showed them, you know, our thoughts were also. We actually implemented some things that were through it. And one of the things is that, this is now being enforced. And not only that,
Who's overseeing that?
right now,
Yeah.
the person can do it.
No, I mean, but who oversees their fees? Like who's?
They are
They're independent.
They're independent, and the increases is coming because where they need to take the dump for the stuff that comes there. There's a lot of gas.
Right, but it is basically, that's what
That's shipping fees for them to take that.
that's what fuel surcharge is, the 8%. They instituted this year.
Although fuel went down from last year.
Oh, I know that. That's the first thing we said.
It's because they're calling it, they call it.
I get it, I get it.
No, they're only the same as they also.
Oh, they are?
Seneca Meadows. What's happening with Seneca Meadows, they're putting the squeeze on all the, county because they have to close Seneca Meadows unless they get major increases.
Right. So, Greenway will probably,
I don't know much about it, but
You know, again, you raise the prices and those of us that don't have private haulers are gonna pay the
We're gonna pay
increased
the
price every day. Otherwise, we would be paying the private haulers the increased price anyway.
still we did last year, we'll do the analysis, we'll break it down, we'll bring it to the public will say, you know,
Exactly.
if they want, you'll know next year if they're gonna use it.
Right,
They're
this
willing
is
to
just a,
pay.
this is just a heads up to everybody that this is happening, we gotta do now.
There's gonna be a,
She sent me an email, she.
Okay.
right, but also, you
that's
know,
it.
so,
Yes.
if I just meant, so Greenway is gonna be at the Hurley Day event. As soon as those oil tanks can get off the property at the transfer station, they will start that education and composting program.
What's the hold up on the?
The oil tanks have not been registered since 2001. So if they're not been registered in 2001, you can't.
We're waiting for them to accept the
You can't
registration.
move it.
We have registered that since.
Well,
We're in the
yeah,
process of registering.
Like I said,
yeah,
right?
68,000. Right, so in other words, what happened was, when we asked if we get those removed, we asked for registration.
I think they're transactions.
Oh, yeah, it is. You know, so the whole thing is that, they then came down, DEC came down, they came down, Josh Cummings, in fact, came down and inspected the, 2 unregistered tanks, found violations of law. All right, and so basically he is not gonna allow us to register until we clean up all the violations. And there's a whole bunch of, Mike was here.
It's over $5,000.
Sorry?
It's over $5,000.
It's a lot of money.
It's more than that.
What is
you have to
service tonight?
pay.
Well, no, that's a bill to, for the, labor to do with that. $68,000 to replace a, tank.
Well, we're not
Why
replacing.
are we replacing it? We're taking it out. of
We're
the
just
budget.
removing
We're
those.
taking it out, putting another tank in.
We are.
Why would
We
we
are.
do that?
We're not.
Why are
We don't
doing that?
accept oils or anything anymore.
We
No,
already
no,
did.
no, no.
That was
The tank-
different
no, no,
resolution.
The tank I'm talking about is different than those 2 tanks there.
Right.
This is a 3,000 gallon tank that Mike uses for fuel.
When the
Right, you
diesel-
already did
that's
that
diesel
resolution
storage.
last.
That's we're referring to at the transfer station, though, it's being removed and not being replaced. with.
Right, here's the thing, the whole thing is under one violation.
Got it, got it.
Take care of everything before we get those out. And so basically is that this 3,000 gallon tank is not in the containment area. It's a single wall, you need to have double wall going through there. It could cost us $30,000 to, replace the tank, buy a new tank, and then $38,000 to install.
That's. Is that
So what-
the resolution? of the
That
highway?
was last year.
That was last week. But this is two that we're just gonna get rid of.
These two, but here's the thing, you can't, yeah, contamination. So all the violations, and the few others, have to take care, they won't let us get rid of the same, all the violations.
Do you have any guesstimate as to the timeframe of when these violations will live up?
We are right now, Mike has engaged, Jesse Hicks, whose recommendation from Josh from the DEC, have this guy take care of all of that. And that's what that, building that Mike had, at $5,000, that was to get rid of it. We've already paid $3 to register those 2 tanks.
Oh, broke.
Okay.
So what are we doing now at the transfer station?
All I'm saying is that once we get those tanks out of there, we can start that composting program.
Except Maybe not.
Right, we
It's a
can,
It's a Superfund site.
no, we can do it.
No, we can't. You know, Shabazz went to the wrong person. They had information. He went to Brittany O'Brien Drake, who's in materials and management of DEC, wrong person. He has to go to David Pollock, the chief engineer, and he actually performs.
Well, let's hope for the best, because we need to start getting that, as much waste that we can, you know, out of the waste stream, so we don't have to pay as high fees that we pay.
All right.
Public comment too?
All right, I make a motion to open public comment number 2.
Second.
All in favor? Anybody want to speak?
And I promise, I'm gonna make it really fast. I can tell everybody's tired. My name is Kathy McMahon. I live in Hurley. I was here at your June meeting, and I want to tell you how much I appreciated the very good discussion you had about the proposed lithium battery plant that they want to do at the former Coleman site. And I know a number of the questions I was going to bring up were discussed earlier when Jillian Freer was here. So I just have 2 quick questions, and I know I talk fast. Has there been or will there be a vote to oppose the lithium battery plant? And 2, is a request for a moratorium for the lithium battery plant being considered at all?
Wait,
And
say the second one?
Have you considered a moratorium, asking for a moratorium for the plant? I know that's been used in other areas very successfully, and I know Jillian knows all about that. And I just really wanted to thank you for listening to us, your constituents, and thank you very much. And thank you for being here for a long time.
I just want to say something here. I spoke to the Gardner supervisor and I spoke to Platica supervisor. Those are the 2 first sites that Kevin went to.
Really?
And before they can even set foot there, they fix a moratorium.
But who has to do the moratorium?
The
The town
town,
of Ulster.
which it is located.
Right, so the town
We
of Ulster.
cannot place a moratorium
We
on
have something.
development within the town of Ulster.
We write a
The
letter.
first one,
We can ask them.
Yeah, yes.
There have been
Yes, right.
conversations and these are things that, as part of any kind of correspondence you send to them, you can say that we believe, you know, it's highly important so that, you know, this can be well thought out before things go forward, but at the same time, town of Ulster seems to have made their opinions clear. You've spoken with the supervisor multiple times. You've sent a letter asking, have you had any updates on the status with how secret going or?
Not yet. They haven't done secret yet.
Haven't started.
They just start, they can do the agency.
Did they send a notice directly to you for this meeting on Thursday?
No.
Okay. So you should probably follow up and say, you know, letter dated this, we asked to be an interested party, we received no
No,
notice.
I'm sorry. We did receive a notice. Yeah, we have to be an involved party.
Interested.
Well, no, I'm sorry. We have to be an involved party. They responded that you can only be an interested party. And then if you're an interested party, all you do is look at the website.
That's it? Or just look at the website?
Yes, that's what he said. And there's all the information.
You
as
have
an
to
interested
watch the
party.
website. You also should look up, the architect who spoke at one time, Alex Drybeck. He said if you can look up Alcazar's website separately, that he saw a discrepancy in things that were posted on the town of Ulster's website and Alcazar's website for the project. So if you could try to go look that up in comparison, I didn't get to look at that myself, but he had messaged me and he saw a lot more documents on the Alcazar website than he saw on town Ulster website.
Has Tim been on the Alcazar website yet?
Who?
Has Tim been on that site?
No, I'll
Yeah,
get to
you got
tomorrow.
time.
I'll stick him on it.
Stick him on it.
I'll stick him on it.
So what I would recommend is potentially you should have a comprehensive review committee reviewing this. You don't need to have a moratorium, but they could be potentially looking at sites in Hurley in which to or not to do it. That's just based on the zoning that we're doing right now. But as far as a letter, you would disapprove it. So definitely up to you guys. It might be something to think about.
Close public hearing. Thank you.
There's 3 of us here.
Anybody else?
No, you can draft
Well,
and
you
bring it up
can
in the
do it
next meeting.
Friday, but I wasn't here to like the 3 of you anyway.
Yeah, you
I
have-
just wanted to- But yeah, to meet something for some other reason that Friday. That's why you told me people you'd meet something Friday. You guys had to meet on something Friday.
Yes, that is,
Wait.
we just watched over the YouTube video of
Yeah.
the meeting on the 16th.
Yeah, that's Friday, the 16th is Tuesday.
Right, but you're gonna meet that Friday, because
We
it's
meet
something that
Friday
you had
for
or
something else.
Right, and I was already gonna be out of
And that
town.
special meeting that you were supposed to host to do.
We did.
More.
Or it was.
Also the, public hearing.
Right, and at the 16th meeting, you said that during that, you were gonna take a vote on that, you were also gonna take a
Right.
vote.
Yes.
There was something that you needed to
A
do.
vote on writing
About-
a letter?
No,
The
Whether or
stance
not
of
we
the
were-
town's
right,
board,
whether we
whether
were
you
gonna-
stand for it or against it.
Right.
And we didn't have all of that, we didn't have all the members
Well, you
here.
didn't work as members, because I had already, I was
Greg
already out
wasn't
of
here.
town. So I don't know if you had the meeting at all.
So I was here on the.
Yes.
This was July.
No, the 20th was Friday.
20th was a Friday.
Wait, 16th was, we had a board meeting.
June,
Yes.
June, this is back in June. 16th, June, it was a Monday.
I don't, you know.
The only person absent was Joe the Townsend.
What? The 20th.
Oh, the
You
20th?
gotta attend,
There's nothing on the 20th.
start,
Well, you
watch the.
I'm not
video.
telling you, it's a
Yeah.
special meeting. You gotta have a special meeting to do something. It was the
2 hours.
20th. It was to, no, it was to sign the,
Yes.
all the
EMT.
EMT contract. That's why you were, but I was already out of town. I don't know who was here, but that's what you guys
I was
gonna do
doing it today.
that Friday. I was gonna make a red
Who was not here on the 20th?
I wasn't here. 20th, I was out, she was absent, but everybody else was here.
Joe was
Everybody
here?
else was here, Joe was here. Yeah, Joe was here.
And okay, what did we say the 20th? We signed the EMS?
You approved the emergency purchase of heavy equipment. You established the rates for the ambulance service. And you approved, you authorized the supervisor to execute the contract between Hurley and the ambulance service. And that's what the meeting was called for.
Right.
And a consensus of what our position was, that we were all opposed or not opposed, and at that night, we said we were all opposed. So you could solidify it at that Friday meeting in a resolution.
You were here too, so, yeah, all three of us.
Yeah.
Watch the meeting.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
we did not, obviously did not do it.
Well, at that time, no.
Obviously, we missed it.
Well, at that time it was, we had a 16th meeting, we had to do a rec meeting, the EMS, we had a deadline, and, you know.
So we just missed it.
But you can do it.
Does anybody else wish to
Yeah.
speak for public comment?
Absolutely. No, I'll say so. Oh, thank God.
I'll be really good.
Okay, yeah, that's your mom and dad here.
Great. Hi. My name is Eric Fury, Fiore. I live in Hurley. And I just want you guys to know, my kids are 5th generation. And thank you for being, I hope you'll vote to be opposed to the plant that's gonna be at the former Coleman site. But I hope you know too, that there are a lot of people in Hurley who are not here today,
That's right.
who really are, I can't even put into words how upset and concerned we are if this thing happens. And so anything you can do to help us get the word out, anything you can put in our newsletters, anything you can do to like raise awareness. I don't think people really understand what's happening. They hear green and they think it's going to be good and they turn it off after that. And I really think the more that you guys can do to inform the public, the more you're going to see people here who are against it. And then the more we can try to pressure the town of Ulster to rethink this plan. But I do think people know if this happens, it's really, really bad for this whole region. So thank you for doing everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? All right, I close public comment. That's it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a big motion to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Second.
Sorry, all in favor? Aye.